Hey everybody, this is Johnny Beane, and we are live here on a Saturday. Wow, August 4th, 2018, 1:07 p.m. California time, 4:07 p.m. New York City time, and that's what 9:07 p.m.
It's 9 p.m. in the UK. How about that?
Wow!
What a great way to spend a Saturday evening. None of this TV rubbish. Talking gear with you guys.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
Awesome.
It's the first time I picked up a guitar today, so I expect some fingers getting blasting and chromatics and you know that feeling when you've picked up the guitar for the first time, and it's like you just want to get at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we got David Nesdahl.
Hey.
There he is. Jay Hannon.
Howdy, everyone.
Hey man, nice T-shirt.
Thanks. Thank you.
Cool. Very cool. And Thomas.
Hello.
Thomas McRocklin, man.
Good evening or afternoon. How are you guys doing?
Very good.
Doing well.
Very good.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Chat room's already lighting up. I like that. That's very cool.
Fired up. Everyone's fired up.
We have to get a little bit, make that a little bit bigger again. I like it.
Everyone in the chat room, if you have questions for Thomas, just fire away, and we'll blurt them out if he doesn't want to read them himself, and you'll get your questions answered.
Actually, since Thomas is in the chat room, you guys can actually mention him, and the it'll turn orange. So Thomas you'll be able to see.
That looks great. That's great. I'm a big fan of being tagged.
Cool. Man. So how you been, man?
I've been good. I've been really busy. Just knocking out. I don't know if you guys saw, but recently I started a new project called McRocklin and Hutch. And the pace that we're working is just ridiculously fast in a great way, you know, because previously when I was doing my stuff, I'm fluent with, you know, my DAWs and software, right? You know, I can work really fast, but I get really caught up in the little sort of details. I'll quite happily spend 4 hours EQing a kick drum and then going back at it an hour later and say, I don't know, there's something about 121 hertz which is just not sitting right. But we've got a really good balance, like Hutch, who's doing like the majority of the programming and the tracks, is just spinning out these tracks, and I'm laying down guitars, and then just as I'm almost finished, he's like, here's another track. So but it's been so much fun, and our first track with McRocklin and Hutch is out on Monday. So just can't wait for, you know, to get full tracks and for people to kind of check it out. And but it's been great, you know, just kind of working at a super fast pace. I'm really enjoying it, and just spending less time programming drums and doing all that side of things, and getting more opportunity just to sit and come up with cool guitar lines. So been a lot of fun. So that's been keeping me busy, and then everything else, you know, just trying to still practice. You know, don't want to kind of sacrifice at this stage, kind of putting the hours on practice, you know, and the sort of backseat as well. So it's a tricky balance, but loving it, and it's all fun.
Cool.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
And that comes out Monday, right? That's gonna be cool stuff, because I've seen some of the clips that you've posted on Instagram, and it seems like it's gonna be some cool stuff, man.
Yeah, it's like pretty cool. I use Instagram almost as like the test bed. It's like I posted an Instagram version. So the first track that's out on Monday is called All I Want From You. All I Want From You. And the first couple of hours I got that track, I just fired a video camera up. Whoa, it's Larry Mitchell. Are you guys seeing this?
How did he get in here?
Larry.
Oh, he came in the back door.
Party crasher.
You know, he's good at that.
If anybody's a pleasant surprise on a party crashing video stream, it's Larry.
Hey Thomas.
Hi. How are you doing? You all right? It's been so long. What, like, gosh, I must have been like 12 or 13 or something the last time we talked or met up.
The first time we met, I think you were 12. I think the last time I saw you was probably 13.
Wow, man! Back in the day, the NAMM days, doing like Ibanez stuff, I'm guessing.
Yes, Ibanez.
It's funny.
And you would come to the Samson booth and play with me in the band at the Harkey booth, the Harkey Devils.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That's right, dude. That's something I completely forgot about. But I remember I used to love the Harkey cams with their sort of silver cones and stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's funny. We were checking out the setup the other day, and then we got talking, funny enough, about yourself. And I was like, back in the day when I was at the NAMM show and stuff, and I was like, there's guitar players everywhere. But you came up, and I was like, Larry was one of those guys that no matter how many times you'd play, how many sets you'd do during the day, I just want to watch every one of them. I was always like a huge fan of your playing and the groove that you'd put into the sort of shred stuff. And so, it's awesome to see you again, man.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's great to see you. I love the videos, man. The videos on Instagram, especially when you did the Willy Wonka song, that really got the message.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, a bit soft.
Hey Jay, hey Dave, hey Johnny.
Hey, what's happening?
I'm sorry for being late. I forgot that I had cleaned out my iPad a while ago, and I forgot to reinstall Google Hangouts. That's what you go through, right? Because that's what it wanted.
Yeah,
to
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wanted to open, but it doesn't exist.
It's all good.
Yeah. Just before, like, the reason we're a couple of minutes late. It's like I was just jumping in. There was just no audio, and I've got a really funky setup. I've got like the Fractal going into it. Well, the Fractal USB going to the computer, the Apollo audio interface, and then the mic you hear me from probably in the room is from the webcam. And it's like, if it doesn't all line up perfectly, it's like the software goes, nah, we don't want to know.
Yeah.
So I had one of those moments, like I restarted the machine, and I just anticipated like seeing 60 updates happen at the same time. But luckily, I was straight back in. So yeah.
Awesome.
Sorry guys, I'm on tour in Tacoma, Washington, and I'm in my friend's backyard, and I think they're building a boat next door.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks beautiful.
It's
and so does that guitar.
Hear the riveting going on, but
Yeah, what is that guitar? It looks so the neck looks gorgeous. Looks really nice.
Thanks. It's my Nags. It's my signature model, and
Tasty.
It plays amazing.
Nice.
Can you guys hear those? It sounds like gunshots or riveting. Can you hear that in the background? It's gunshots. I'm in Compton. No, just kidding.
Just holding it down beside the gunship.
Huh? What was that?
You're just holding it down over there, just keeping everybody at distance. Got the Berettas out.
Playing Kiesel guitars now, right?
That's right, and Kiesel headless. Yeah. Funny enough, it was at NAMM. You were at NAMM last winter, NAMM, right? Is that right? So it's such a shame we didn't get to kind of meet up and do something then. But that was like the first time I got to check out some headless guitars, and then later I got to try other headless guitars, and it was just for one reason or another didn't really feel right. And then by chance, Jeff had caught me in the comments. Somebody tagged me in a post and mentioned me, and then we got chatting. And I'd always been like a huge fan cosmetically of the Kiesel stuff. I followed their Instagram page since like the early days and stuff, but just never really had a chance. And then they built this and sent this out. This is the Osiris model. And I'm one of those guitar players. I like what I like. I don't really like switching up much. And it's like, I grew up playing, Ibanez's, and, that was my thing. And then the moment I got this out of the box in the feel and I sat down with it, and it was about like a minute in, I was like, oh, you just, you wouldn't forgive yourself unless you kind of took the opportunity to do something with them. So it's an amazing guitar to play, and it sounds great. But it plays so good. That's a thing that really caught me. It's like the only way I can describe it is like when I first started playing it, the stuff that I was working on for like a couple of months' time, it's like suddenly I was able to do that stuff. And then anytime you get like those boosts, for me, it's like, I play these Dunlop Flow plectrums because, I feel to just give me a little bit extra edge. I really like the Dario NYXL strings. You're an NYXL guy, aren't you, Larry? Is that right?
Yeah, I use the XLs, NYXLs, some of my guitars, and some I go back to the original 120 XL.
Yeah, yeah. Funny, and I love the NYXLs, and recently in the UK it's been like really humid and really warm, so I changed over to the coated strings, and they've done a great job of kind of eliminating a lot of that kind of sort of stick that you kind of get, you know. So and they last like crazy. So anything, you know, that kind of gives me now that little bit of an edge, I'm all for it. And you know, the Fishman Fluence pickups did that for me a little bit as well. I thought they brought something to the table, but the Kiesel stuff, this is an awesome guitar, and can't wait for my next one, which is apparently not that long away now. So,
and that's the Vader coming, right?
The one that's on the way is, or should be on the way very soon, is a Zeus. So it's another bolt-on. Vader's like a neck-through sort of design.
Yeah.
I like the Vader as well. It's really cool. But I've always played like bolt-on necks, so I don't know why. I like, you know, the sort of snappiness and the feel, and plus the access on these is just like crazy good anyway, because they have this like sort of tapered away heel at the back. So I don't really see crazy additional benefits of having like a neck through and stuff, you know. So, but everybody's got their own taste, and you know, it's a great guitar. But
you had don't you have somebody's purple Vader right now?
Exactly, yeah. I recently gave it back. It was my friend Danny's, who's actually got a bunch of Kiesel and carving guitars going back from the last couple of years. And funny enough, it was like he brought about 3 or 4 of them around to my house, and this was before the point that I kind of made things official with Kiesel. And at that point, I'd had the Osiris for like 2 weeks, but still, it's like, you know, it's a big move to do that, to kind of go to Kiesel. But I tried every one of his guitars, and each one in their own way was like as good as the previous one. So I thought, like, if they're that consistent from like 2015, 2016, and all these different models, you know, it's going to be legit really cool. So
now, can I ask you about the scale? Because I know the Vader you were playing was a multi-scale. Was it with the fan frets? Now, is that something that you have to get used to, or is it just feel natural, and then going back and forth, did it cause an issue?
In all honesty, that the Vader multi-scale was a 7, and the multi-scale part of it itself didn't take any, you know, that was fine. But 7-string is just not a thing that I'm naturally kind of into. I thought with some of the tracks I'd use it, it'd be useful to have, but I think at heart I'm a 6-string guy, and I don't think, you know, at this point I really want to kind of start changing that too much, you know. Yeah. But it was an awesome guitar, and having it multi-scale meant there was a bit of extra lower tension on the B string, you know. So,
because that's one thing I'm kind of nervous about trying a multi-scale guitar. I'm like, crap, if I like it, then I'm not going to want to play any of my other guitars. I'm just going to want, you know, want that. So I'm nervous.
But I think the issue is with or not issue. The good thing is with Kiesel's multi-scale is the parallel fret is something like the 5th fret or something. It's quite a gentle sort of multi-scale that they do. So it gives you a lot of the benefits, but it's, you know, some of the guys that do multi-scale are like really aggressive, and they have these huge fans, and it's very difficult to fret chords and stuff. I didn't have any issues with that 7-string going back and forwards with this one, but it just turns out like 7-string just really wasn't something that's, you know, something I want to kind of get into.
We have some questions. We have some questions in the chat real quick. Fender Guru says, what's multi-scale? First.
Multi-scale, yeah, it's not really for anything like intonation or anything like that. It's literally just to get the tension in the lower strings. So typically, you might have a 25.5-inch scale on the higher strings, and then on the lower strings you'll have a longer scale, and that's just to stop that really flabby stuff happen. You know, if you can imagine like an 8-string and you're toasting a Bassi, and you play like a non-multi-scale guitar, you know, some of those lower strings, especially when you're doing the thump and stuff, it could be really kind of flabby and stuff, you know. So having the lower strings a bit longer really it gives you more tension, and that is it. So it's not for like intonation. It doesn't mean chords are more in tune or anything like that. It's just to get the tension on the lower strings.
And Jason Wade says, McRocklin, do the headless guitars seem to be bottom heavy like a heavier Les Paul would be? Never played one, just wondering.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is one hefty piece of swamp ash. I tried another brand of headless guitars, which felt like really, really light. It was like uncomfortably light. So it's going to be dependent on what you go for. This is swamp ash body, and it's a pretty hefty piece. So I wouldn't say it's bottom heavy. It's like really well balanced. You could put on your strap, take your hands away, and it's going to sit right there. But if you're concerned about, kind of having, a really super well balanced guitar, you could probably just get use the chambered option, because if you get Kiesel or chamber, it'll take a little bit of the weight out and stick with some of the lighter woods as well. But no, even for me, even with a hefty piece of swamp ash like this one, it works great, and it's very well balanced, especially compared to what I was coming from.
Yeah, that's one question I had as well, is about the balance of it. Because I remember, back in the day holding like a Steinberger or something. It was like, whoa,
yeah,
what's going on here?
Yeah, no, you don't want anything to kind of upset your playing and stuff and throw you off, So yeah, no, it's great. I'm a big fan of the headless guitars, and I think because of the string length, it's like one thing having scale, but overall, if you imagine, the body seems just ever so slightly smaller, so the string length, it's a full 25.5 scale guitar, so it's big scale, regular guitar, but the overall string length is a little bit shorter, so they feel a little bit sort of tighter. So when you kind of really lay into it, and I dig really, long, but it's tight, it's taut, feels good. I like it.
Well, it sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Very cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool.
I
actually have some questions. We all have some questions, I think.
Yes.
Caleb just quit.
Come on, Caleb.
We were talking about that last night on the Late Show, about certain guitar players you watch and you're like, man, that makes me want to go home and play right now. And then you see these guys that are just like, I'm going to sell all my gear.
Yeah, but our friend Caleb, Thomas, you may not know him. He's one of the better guitar players that we know, and he has this band called what's the name? Nerd Halen, yeah. And they do Van Halen covers, of course, but and there's a whole shtick to it. But you close your eyes and you listen to him play, and it sounds like Eddie Van Halen. It's just he's got the whole thing. He's got he's got the feel and all the little nuances of Eddie's picking and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah. Getting somebody's personality in your playing, that is a very difficult thing to do as well. It's one thing doing stuff note for note, but a lot of the time when you're trying to sound like somebody, it's really their personality and their approach, just the smallest details that really sell the whole thing. Yeah. So now I'll definitely have to check him out. I've probably already seen him, I'm sure, but I will. I'll make a note right now. I'll check him out. I love that stuff. Yeah,
very cool. All right, so I have a question, and I want to kind of get right into your guitar, and especially the pickups. Fishman versus your signature DiMarzio pickups. What is it that you like about the Fluence pickups that you've decided to change the pickups in all of your guitars?
Yeah, Fishman got in contact well over probably like a year and a half ago, a long time ago. And they sent some Fluence out, and I left them on the shelf because, in the case when I was playing RGs, coming from a passive pickup to active pickup, you're going to have to drill and put some cavities and, put the battery pack if you want to do that. You're essentially going to have to hack into your guitars a little bit. And I personally have no problems hacking guitars, getting them done up. That's not a problem. But it's something I knew I'd have to get, a friend of mine who's also my long-term guitar tech, to do. And it's like, it's a big job going from a passive pickup in an RG to a Fluence pickup. But eventually I had like a couple of weeks where my main guitar was just like, let's give it a shot. And it was just one of those moments. It was like, whoa, even on the dirty stuff, you get this sort of extra detail, and then you hear the split sounds, and it does amazing split sounds, and then it's just so, it's like the best passive pickups that you've ever heard. So they don't really have an active sound; they have a sound of their own. But the way that they sort of voice them, they just sound great. And then the other little bonuses is things like you don't get any noise and stuff through your amps, or if you're in a PA and you have your pickup turned up, the buzzing noise, none of that stuff's there. But yeah, it was just like I did my first guitar, which was one of the RGs, and yeah, once I heard it, it was just like, oh man, there's no going back. And so I have like a bunch of different fluents, and I'm still kind of even now trying different ranges out and stuff. But the ones I seem to like the most so far is probably the Tosin signature set. They're really cool. And they have the most ridiculous split sound, which is great for me, because it's like I go from like a sort of lead sound to like the really bitey, snappy sort of sound.
Yeah,
they sound great. These are the new these people think these are like regular passive pickups, but the new open core pickups. So they look like traditional pickups, but they are powered little battery. They do last like 2 or 3 months or so. Even when I'm playing like 8 to 10 hours a day, they last a long time. That's a long time.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but yeah, these have 3 extra voices, push pull, 5-way. I always play with a 5-way. A lot of Fishman guitars, when they ship them, they have a 3-way plus a push pull. And I switch so often. You'll see a lot of the videos, like I'll change 4 or 5 times in the same phrase. I'll be switching the switch. But yeah, these are the new open cores, and they sound great, more like a passive, but they have like an aggressive sound to them as well, if you want to do that.
Because I prefer that look as well, the passive pickup look, the traditional pickup look. I prefer that.
Yeah, for sure.
Switch as well, like that. In between licks, in one lick, I'll switch to 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the funny thing is when I'm sitting practicing with no amp on, I'm going, and I'm like clack clack clicky, and people are like, "You're not plugged into an amp. Why are you doing that?" It's like, but it's just like habit.
It's habit. We all do it. You have a 5-way switch in your guitar. You're always knocking it. You're always playing with it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I always turn the volume up and down when I'm not plugged in too. Crazy.
Yeah. No, it's weird.
Well, how many guitar players do you see when you're watching them play live? And I'm sure we've all done it as well. You're playing, and you're nonstop touching the volume knob to make sure it's all the way up. I mean, we all do it.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're a 9, you're gonna have to leave the stage.
Yeah.
Damn, what's happened? Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, love the Fishman stuff. I'm a big fan, and the next Kiesel Zeus that comes, we're going to go with the Tosin set. In that the Tosin set was the set of pickups that I used on every track on the EP that I released not so long ago called New Beginnings, and I really like the guitar tones. It was just fractal mostly. But I think that set of pickups, like when you hear the cleans and the sort of occasional split sounds and stuff, they've just got like a really unique sort of tone and characteristic about them. So
are you going to do 2 humbuckers, or are you going to do hum single hum?
Every guitar from now will probably just be HH, so 2 humbuckers. And even in that blue RG, it's got a Fishman single coil in the middle. It's actually not wired up. It's just there for cosmetics. It's not doing anything. So the split sounds with just HH with a 5-way Fender Super 5-way switch, it's just perfect, So HH, it's the first time I've actually played HH as well, because I've always played humbucker, single coil humbucker, and quite enjoying just having that little bit of extra space, or at least the feeling of space, because I never really used to slam my pickups really though, so they'd always be fairly high, and a lot of people think like I must be like clanging into the pickups and stuff, but it's quite nice, because I do move around in terms of when I'm pick slanting or angling, and moving around and just having that little bit of extra freedom. I like it. So I'm a a recent change, convert to the HH.
Yeah, I always used to. Well, in the universe there, the middle pickup, the single coil, is flat with the pick guard.
Yeah,
And
a lot of people do
this one I
that.
had it taken out because I didn't
Nice.
like how it felt. You know, that's where kind of most of the action was happening. So
Okay,
same
yeah,
thing
that's
for,
really cool. So did you get a different scratch plate put on that?
Yeah, that's just they put a, you know, basic pick guard. So got it out of there.
Yeah, it looks nice. Yeah, it's. I think when you see guitars like that as well, it looks, because you're not used to seeing them HH, it looks cool, especially with the single green humbuck. I like it.
Yeah, well, that's because at the time they didn't have that's Air Norton in the neck, and they didn't make a green one at the time. And of course, a couple years later, they had a green one. I'm like, oh, but it looks cool, black and green, you know.
What can you do? Yeah, nice. That looks cool.
Thanks.
Look at this chat room.
Yeah, what kind of questions do we have? Anyone have any questions? Anyone in the panel have any questions?
Hey, Thomas, how's your dad?
My dad is doing good, thank you. Yeah, he's you know, he's just a chilled guy. He's like, you know, retired, and you know, I see him like most days and stuff. We take a ride out in the car and stuff. So yeah, he's chill, doing his thing, typing away on his laptop, trying not to buy too much on eBay, I think, you know, but I think he's a little bit like me, you know. We both have this like obsessive personality, you know, and when he was younger, he didn't really have, you know, dogs, or his dad didn't allow dogs. So then he got really sort of passionate about dogs, especially Shih Tzus and Chihuahuas, and dogs that were a little bit neglected, or, you know, they didn't look in the best health, or people weren't taking good care of their dogs and stuff. You know, you'd try and take the dog and bring it back to, you know, good health and stuff. So he like I probably would have done, he got really obsessed with that, and he had at one point like almost 30 of these dogs. So that probably just took up a huge portion of his time. Wow. And you know, back in those days, I mean, you know, a lot of those dogs got older and passed away, and there's far less of those dogs now. But if you ever entered somebody's house and you see 30 small dogs running towards you, it's like, whew, it's a weird sensation.
Remember the Trouble with Tribbles episode of Star Trek?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just, whoa, it's crazy. So but he's doing good, man. I'll tell him you said hi.
Yeah, cool. I
love that.
At the NAMM shows many years ago. So.
Well, that was it. You know, back in those days, you know, we were kind of back and forwards to the US and stuff. You know, it was like, started going to the States when I was like 8 or 9 or something. So yeah, he wasn't a big fan of flying as well, you know. So for him to go back and forwards.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that's really a fan of flying. It's not easy, especially these days. It's just not easy.
Yeah, I remember.
That's a whole other rant that
I
really can't get into it right now.
Okay. Yeah, let's leave the flying thing. Yeah. Some bad feelings there.
So Michael Smith has a question. He says, can you ask Thomas what was the first guitar that he had, and what was the first real good guitar that he owned?
Well, I mean, my dad wasn't like, despite being called John and having the surname McRocklin, John McRocklin. So despite having a very famous jazz player's name, he wasn't like a huge guitar player, but he was enough of a fan and he had enough of an interest that he bought like an Ibanez Artist. So the first guitar that I played was an Ibanez Artist, and that was when I was about 4, and my dad knew the chords to like Tin Lizzy's The Boys Are Back in Town. And I think, you know, I had one of those moments, you know, when you play the chords and it's just very simple chord changes, but you have that moment. It's like you do it and it's in time and it sounds like how it's supposed to sound. It sounds legit. Whoa. It's like you have that moment. So that was the kind of spark of it. But that was on an Ibanez Artist. And I think the first time I got my own guitar was with a Hamer. Remember the gold Steve Stevens model?
Yeah.
It was pretty bling. Yeah, I had one of those. which I still have somewhere. And then I had a Tony McAlpine BC Rich crackle finish. And then I had various other, like a Gibson and stuff like that. But then I saw David Lee Roth, and I saw Steve Vai with the Floral Gem. And back then it was like, it was very difficult. It wasn't like you could just go online and go, right, I'll find one of those, we'll have it delivered. So my dad called around a lot of music stores in the US because he couldn't get them at all in the UK. And then I got my first Ibanez Gem, and I even to this day I still remember the house, the setting. The first time I opened that case and I saw the Floral Gem. That was it. It was game over for every other guitar. It was just like that. That was it. And then I played that guitar non-stop until I got another gem. But funny enough, that guitar is right beside me right now.
Yes.
That's it's this one. So it's been around. I mean, it's seen a lot of gigs and Punishment, and there's just so many stories, and lots of people.
Oh my goodness!
Signed it, and and all this tape and masking tape. A lot of this is from the Mothership Steve Vai studio. The Mothership. It was just like I'd peel tape off his mixing console from sessions and stuff, or previous sessions he'd done, and put them all on there. So yeah, even the masking tape and stuff that goes around, a lot of it is from like the Mothership. But you can see there's like a lot of hacks and chunks out of it, and there's a bit of a story behind that one as well. If you're interested.
I was about to ask you about that huge chunk and then the big slice in the bottom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was like the Floral Gem was, especially around the Band for Good days. I mean, this was like my main go-to guitar, and it's I think it's had a few different necks on it. But one day, I think we played in LA. Bad for Good was playing that, and this guitar just didn't make it back to LA for whatever reason. It was stuck on a flight or however it happened. And Steve sent me very graciously his Floral Gem, and which was was great. But I was like a hyper crazy little dude, and I sliced like the horns off his guitar, and then I think I sliced either the whole headstock or a big chunk of the headstock, and it was just like really brutally just cut bits out. I think definitely cut the handle out of it, and it turned out it was Steve's favorite guitar at the time, and I had no idea. And then he was saying by my guitar tech, like he's gonna get revenge and stuff, and then we didn't believe him and stuff. And then so he hacksawed that out, put hacksaw there. He took a chunk out there, and he put some more hacksaws. But he showed a lot more restraint than I did. I mean, he's like, that's pretty workable. I mean, his guitar had a fair bit of more wood taken out of it than he did. But we're cool, and there was no hard feelings. But yeah. Not probably the best thing to do is chop somebody's favorite guitar up. But
why'd you do it?
Honestly, me and Steve at that time. I mean, bear in mind we're in LA, and I'm living with Steve Vai at that time because we're tracking guitars every day at the Mothership. So I spent maybe like 3-4 months living there. Ibanez LA Custom Shop is like a half an hour away. Steve's like a huge Ibanez guy. I've been with Ibanez probably at this point already a couple of years. So we basically have spare parts on tap coming in, within an hour. So hence, like, I smashed up a bunch of guitars, and Steve's all for it. He's encouraging. He's like, oh, the kids are great. Look what Thomas is doing. And, it's all kicking off. And even in rehearsals, I remember I accidentally put a guitar through the bathroom wall. And it was just like, it was just crazy times, and then at the end of the day, you break an Ibanez gem neck, we could just get another one really quickly. But these days you just can't do that. I mean, no. First of all, I mean, I appreciate the guitars. Not that I didn't appreciate the guitars, but I think I have a different type of love for them now. It's like now I'm a little bit more like, I don't want to ding it up. And I play guitars like they need to be played. I'm not like, okay, I need to put my microfiber outfit on to play this guitar. they're made to be played, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, I definitely wouldn't go out my way to like throw one on the floor or crash it against the wall. Because recently this guitar here. Oh, I don't know why I have this thing still. This was Steve's old bandana, and I used to remember it was always like my strap would always break off on one of them, and we'd use like Steve's old bandanas and stuff. So the things that stick around. But this guitar had like a floral neck on originally, and then again, it broke. But very, very difficult. Last time I got, it was like almost 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, something that. To get a new neck that fits these old school kind of neck pockets, the old full screws, they're just really difficult to come by. So I left this body with the Ibanez LA Custom Shop for a year and a half or something like that. And then eventually in Japan, I think they found a brand new 93 RG or something like that. And then they shipped that RG over to the US and took the neck off it and kind of refinished this one, because this also was a little bit kind of beaten up, but they restored it and did a great job. Put a new switch, electronics and stuff, changed the bridge out to a low pro bridge and stuff like that. And this has obviously got some custom paint job from when I was a kid, re-slamming the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, some of my favorite.
Jay, that's got to be your favorite guitar.
Yeah, anything with wrestling and video games, man. I'm in.
Yeah,
and the shark tooth inlays,
Yeah, exactly. So it's a really cool guitar. Funny enough, because this is actually a slightly smaller body.
That's what I was going to just say. It looks smaller than a normal sized gem.
Absolutely, yeah. And it started out its life as a floral gem, but there's a guy who's a complete legend at Ibanez, Mace.
Mm-hmm.
And Mace designed this guitar, and he took original floral gem and just shaved it down gradually until they got that size. So it wasn't built like that. It was just shaved down, and then they did the paint job. But it started its life off as a floral gem.
Wow,
which is really weird.
There's a couple of guitars like that I know of. I know my buddy Mark Cimino has a green custom shop Ibanez with a 3/4 size body like that, and I know Steve has I think his orange swirled guitar is a 3/4 size, or maybe maybe his green multicolored gem, one of those.
It's actually it's a really comfortable shape, and funny enough, it's probably why I feel so comfortable playing Kiesel now, because their body and stuff, it's a little bit more snug, on the headless ones. And it's just like so comfortable to play. But in fact, this is this was like a birthday present when I was like 12 or 13 from Ibanez. But yeah, you can actually see on the back on this one, the original the floral is still there.
Wow, that's amazing.
So so with this guy, it obviously started off as floral, then got painted. And, I got you can see probably when I was a naughty teenager, I got a little bit bored and started chipping away that paint and stuff again. But this also has had a few different necks over the years, but now it has a ridiculously thin RG neck, and it's probably the thinnest wizard neck I've ever played. I don't know how they got it kind of so thin, but I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's cool. But these guitars really are like Instagram guitars almost, day to day. I just focus on I like this sound, I like this guitar, and bang, and I kind of stick with what I like, But cool guitars though.
And you mentioned the size of the Osiris. Now, how can I ask how tall you are?
I'm like 6'8".
That's what
I wanted to be a basketball player, and that was my other obsession. I was like, if I could have been 6'8" and no guitar player, I would have just taken that. Yeah, basketball was a big thing. I would have definitely been taking that over guitar playing. Now I'm like 5'9", 5'10".
Okay, because I'm 6 foot. I'm trying to figure out if that guitar would be like size,
Yeah, the Vader is if you want something, or there's a Chris Letchworth signature model, which I think the body is a little bit more of a full-size type of guitar body. Not that this is like, you know, 3/4 or anything like that, but it's just a little bit more petite body size, you know. It's like, but it's super comfy. But yeah, if you're a bigger guy, you know, you probably want like maybe a Vader or a non-headless, you know, guitar, you know. But,
well, yeah, they have the Aries. But I mean, I was thinking about an Aries, and then once I saw you with that guitar, I'm like, man, that thing looks so cool, and now I want one of those.
Yeah, it's it's crazy. Yeah, I've had a huge amount of messages on Instagram about, you know, since I started playing this guitar, asking for the specs and stuff and how people can order the same one, you know, because even the color, it's not something I would have personally went on the site and go, I must have this trans aqua type color, you know. But when I got out of the box, I was like,
well,
it's
the
like
translucent finish is really nice on that.
Yeah,
the swamp ash body. Yep, it's nice.
Yeah, man, it's really cool.
Now, does that have the thin profile neck, or is that the standard?
Yeah, thin profile on this guy. It's a 5-piece neck. I think it's got 2 walnut stripes in it. And all the Kiesel come with stainless steel. And I love playing stainless steel. You know, I think they just have that nice little sort of smooth. And especially me, when I'm playing, you know, I kind of always doing little bends and stuff. Yeah, it's probably not a really bad example, but I bend a lot and phrase a lot with little kind of brows and little bends and stuff. And I think the stainless steel frets definitely, they kind of help when it comes to that. So I'm a big fan of those.
Now, as far as the thin profile, how does it compare to I know the older Ibanez, like you said, the old Ibanez RGs with the super wizard, you know, the thin necks, like that one.
Not that thin.
I know it's not that thin, but as far as comparing it
to, it's probably, the comparison would be to an average thinness gem neck. It actually at first, it's weird because I thought it was just a little bit thicker than what I would like, but it's just because I was used to such thin necks, and now it's the other way. Excuse me. When I play the super thin wizard necks on the McRocklin gem, it's like, whoa! It just feels like there's kind of nothing there. So I think it's just a slight adjustment period. They are not quite as thin, even when you get the thin profile, as a typical RG or a gem, but totally thin enough, and you can go crazy on them. You know, they just assist playing in a certain way very well. I love them.
And the radius on that, is that 14 or is that 20?
I think it's 14. Yeah. When I had the Zeus built, we were going to go with 20, but you know, going and comparing different radiuses, it's something that I've never really had the like the opportunity to try. You know, I've tried guitars which have like really flat bores. I think I like them, but I've never sat down and say, okay, this is like my preference. So we just kind of, you know, I like what this felt like, so I kind of stuck. And I think this is 14. So the next one will be 14. But I think maybe hopefully I'll go to NAMM, Winter NAMM, and then after that I'll go spend some time with Kiesel, and maybe that could be a chance to try some different options and see, you know, getting really into nitty gritty what kind of stuff I might want to kind of change in the future.
Cool. Make sure you let me know when you come to NAMM so we can do a little jamming.
Yeah, man, that would be amazing. That would be so cool. I've got your number saved now as well, so I'm gonna give you like the 10-day countdown. Every day I'm gonna give you a different message. So we're definitely gonna make that happen. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, I usually do like a big jam in the lobby of the Marriott and stuff like that. Have some guests, so it'd be great.
Yeah, I was at the Marriott and there was live music. So if you were there, I might have even been like 200 feet away when all that was going on, if that was happening, you know. But so it sucks that we didn't get to do it already. But yeah, for sure, next one, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be good.
Remember we opened for Vi at one of the NAMM shows. I can't remember which ones. Might have been 92 or so. That was
right. Okay. I posted a picture. I mean, it was like a while back, and I didn't know where the picture was from, but it looked a little bit more like a stage setting compared to a booth or a stand sort of setting. So that's what that would have been then.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Is it on your Instagram, Thomas?
It is. I mean, it was a while back, you know, like probably 8 or 9 months back. But yeah, there's a picture of like me with my you know, I could never get boots, cowboy boots to fit my size, so it's like this little kid with like huge boots on. But gotcha. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that was great. Oh, I remember that day. That was that.
Nice.
It was some weird band that was out that caused everything to be strange. But other than that, once that band went on and left, it was a great show. It was a great night.
Nice. Yeah, no, fun times, man. Yeah, it's gonna be a blast to jam again, man. I'm looking forward to it. I've seen obviously a lot of your videos and stuff as well, and yeah, and you recently got an Axe FX 3 as well, right?
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Are you going to Guitar Summit next month in Mannheim?
No. Well, I wasn't anticipating on going.
Okay, it's like you know, Music Mess is kind of slowed down if it's even still going. So there's a bunch of little shows. So this is like called the Guitar Summit. It's in Mannheim on September 7th and 9th. But I'm demoing there.
Why can't I focus that? Larry, I think I found the photo.
Okay. Yeah,
that's it.
Come on, focus! Come on, you son of a gun!
We have matching boots and hats.
I mean, come on. The one time focus. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Awesome.
Wow.
You still have that hat, Thomas?
I think I do somewhere. Yeah, it's funny. I found in my loft recently a bag full of leathers and all sorts of old school stuff like that. So I do.
That's cool, man.
Wow.
Hey, Thomas, I remember being at the custom shop once. I was there off and on for like a week. And I think 5 of your guitars or 5 guitars that you had played had come in 1 week.
Oh, okay.
Needing repair?
In various stages of death.
Yeah, I was a naughty boy, man. I was really bad, you know. I'm really good now. I'm paying for my sins, yeah. But no, I'm like I said, I'm not smashing up guitars now. I'm really good, but it doesn't surprise me. Should I get a little bit more light on? There we go.
That's
and there's
cool.
you and Steve.
Yeah, we used to hang out a lot, you know. I mean, you know, we used to go see movies and stuff and have pizza. And Steve was really into his bikes as well. You know, his Harleys. He'd be working out. There we go. It's in focus.
Yeah.
Hold it closer. Push it like all the way and then pull back. You want? There we go.
Hold on, Steve.
There he is.
Steve, how you doing, Steve? Good to see you. Yes.
Awesome.
He's wearing his green pants in that one.
Yes, he is.
There should be a picture of him and Eddie Van Halen behind Thomas.
Oh,
Yeah.
As
I know
well.
I know that's from the Bill and Ted.
Preston Esquire.
That's it. Yeah, that was a fun night.
That was the opening of the movie, of the second movie.
I think that was just after. It was either at the the Man's Chinese Theatre or it was at a party afterwards. You know, I remember we went to the Bill and Ted's premiere and all the cast and different guys were there, and then afterwards we were hanging out and yeah, doing all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's another one of Jay's favorites.
Yep. You and Jay are going to be
Wrestling.
like in the pod.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is my favorite movie of all time, man.
Yeah, it'd be amazing if they made another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's this? Did Dan ask a super question or something like that? How's his question? Seems to be or
Danny.
That?
That's a super chat. But yeah, you can ask a question with that. Basically, what that does is it pins like a question for like a certain amount of time.
Well, I know he asked a question before the super chat. He asked Thomas, "How did you get started playing guitar?"
Gotcha. Which was my dad's Ibanez artist behind the TV. Yeah, dragging it out.
Well, Dan, if you want to ask another question, please do, because that doesn't count since he already answered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Thomas, I'll kind of continue with that question. When you started to play, like the first time you picked it up or whatever, was it something that like, oh my God, I'm just going to you fell in love with it right away, or was it something that you kind of just like, for a little bit, you kind of toyed around with? Like your father didn't like, hey, you're going to play guitar. It was something that you just kind of fell in love with
it
on
was
your
never
own.
that. You know, it really did very quickly get to the point where before school he would feed me my breakfast whilst I was practicing. You know, it's like,
wow.
You know, I got really obsessed with it, and you know, I still do have this like obsessive personality where I get into something, it's just like, you know, super focused on that, and it's like, you know, nothing else kind of gets in the way. But yeah, just I could never get enough hours practiced or playing done. You know, it was just, you know, I just got obsessed with it. And also bear in mind, like back then, it was a lot easier not to have the distractions of, you know, what a young kid could have these days. You know, it's like I come in my room now to like record some guitar solos, and before I've even hit record, I'm like an hour later, because, you know, I'm checking this, and replying to this, and then there's some days I just literally have to take my phone and make sure there's no web browser open, put my phone either way, and just get on with what I need to do. But it's, even to do that, it's really difficult when you just have this kind of continuous flurry of notifications and questions and things to do coming in. So back then it was just like playing guitar. It was just like not only like the entertainment, but very satisfying. And, you know, when you try and do something and it comes off, and you kind of get better at it, it's just like, it's like the better you get, the better you want to get. It was like that. So I would play for 10, 14 hours a day as a kid, you know, every day. Wow. Non-stop.
Well, it shows.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I shouldn't be surprised, because, I mean, yeah, like Dave said, it shows. So it's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, no. And, you know, it got to the point, by the time I was about 8 or so, I really didn't get on with school and stuff, really. I really disliked school. And, you know, the last day I was at school, you know, I had this huge sort of fight with the headmaster, and I'm sure there was a chair got thrown through the window, and it was crazy, you know. And that was like the last day I had at school, and then after that I was kind of teachers at home. And then in the US, obviously, we'd the Interscope would have teachers and stuff as part of the education over there. But doing that also meant that realistically, it was far less hours doing those kind of things and more hours playing guitar. Yeah.
Wow. Very cool. Caleb asked a question earlier. We didn't get to yet. He asked if there are any guitar players that you have that I quit moment, like when you watch them.
I think I could go on Instagram now and do that 10 times. And when I took a long break, you know, from playing. I started playing about 2 years or so ago now, and I took a huge break, you know, like 20-year break. And during that 20 years away from guitar, I mean, I got down to the point of playing 10, 15 minutes in 3 months. You know, it was so little. So when I started playing a guitar again, like a couple of years back, and you kind of first, you know, you've got this huge amount of work in front of you, and there's opportunities to kind of for me, it was like I could come back and work on different techniques that I wanted to have, and really focus on them. But at that point, if I went on YouTube and I saw some of the guitar players who are like, you know, whether it's guys from Polyphia, Chon, you know, Jason Richardson,
Andy James,
all of these guys, honestly, I could have had that moment about 10 times every day when I start playing again, you know, where it's like, screw it, I'm just not going to be able to compete, you know. And, you know, it's as much as it's not a competition, you know, when you still have that drive and determination and the focus, you know, you want to be at a certain level and stuff, you know, you can't help but make comparisons and stuff. So but I think very quickly I realized that I didn't really care like at all what they were doing. I just wanted to focus what I was doing, what I want to improve and stuff, and that kind of carved a little path in my playing, you know, recently, from about a year or so ago. So I think it's really easy to open up Instagram and see, you know, maybe somebody's played 45 minutes and condensed that down to 15 seconds. And, you know, and they're putting out their best work in a very, very focused, short Instagram video. It's easy to load that and go, oh, you know, what's the point, you know? But I think the trick really is just to not really care at all about that, and just, you know, at any level, if you're playing 5 chords, you're learning songs, you're having fun, you're enjoying it, that really is the main thing. And if you challenge yourself to get better, just don't make the comparison. Just keep focused on your own thing, you know, as long as you're happy with everything. It's
not a competition. Everybody, in fact, it's best to do whatever you decide is your own style. Work on your own style.
100%. And then and I think even myself, once I kind of figured that out, you know, a couple of years back when I started playing again, stopped kind of comparing and doing that, just, you know, work. It just, good things immediately start to happen, you know, because you're just focused on your own thing, and, you know, and that can be at any level.
I think that's the absolute best advice anyone can give anyone in any endeavor.
Totally.
You know,
but it's hard for guitar players to think like that, because usually it's like we're worried about the next guy being better than us, you know.
Hey,
oh
Jay,
yeah.
Well, that's ego.
Yeah. And the way I get around that now is because I like some, you know, and I'm friends with a lot of amazing guitar players on Instagram in particular, and I think what you kind of start to do is you just start to appreciate that artist or that friend for the things that they can do, and you drop the comparison and stuff, and you feel totally comfortable. If you're in the same room, you want to have a play, there's no, oh, how am I, you know, it's no awkwardness. You're just going to play, do your thing, and be confident with what you do and be happy with it, because what else can you do? You know, you're not going to be sit there and be bitter about it and be miserable about it. You're just going to wind yourself up into a complete mess. So just appreciate these guys for the sort of unique parts of their playing that they have to offer. That's how I look at it.
Whenever you whenever you get your ego excited, just keep in mind there's a 12-year-old somewhere chilling. And Thomas, when you came out, I was like, yeah, there's always a 12-year-old somewhere.
Yeah, no, there's some, yeah. I mean, it's just a crazy world, but yeah, man. As long as you're having fun with it, that is the main thing, man.
There was a question from Amanda Coombs. She says, do you believe in natural talent, or is it all about the work and drive?
I think it's both. I think, you know, if you compare, you know, musicians and guitar players to athletes, you know, you put somebody on a track running, you know, 200 meters, and some people are just naturally rapid, you know, they just have something. And that, you know, when it comes to guitar playing, it might be, maybe it's a different thing. Like the sense of rhythm is really cool, and they've got this amazing groove and pocket about them. Where the next guy might be amazing at sort of very fast shredding, but he's cold and unexciting to listen to. So I think, yeah, sometimes there is that natural talent, and that's definitely something that, you know, can help. But people who are determined to do things, and you know, maybe it's harder to get to a certain level. And I think even Steve by himself has mentioned that, you know, that, you know, I'm sure multiple times he's mentioned, you know, guitar playing didn't kind of come easy to him, and he had to work really hard at it. And then eventually something clicks, and then you find your thing and your phrasing and your sound, and then you have the nucleus to kind of to base everything on. So yeah, it's a difficult one, that, but I think it definitely helps to have some natural ability, but hard work and determination is going to account for it.
We'll get you over the top, I think, because I think of sports the same way. Like you have a lot of these, especially like, let's just say the NFL, for instance. Now, you know, I know you're not probably a American football fan, but it's the same thing where these guys get into college and they dominate, but then they get into the pros, and you can't just rely on your physical talents anymore. You have to you have to have that drive behind it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I watch. I'm a big basketball fan. You know, it was like the only sport that I really got into and stuff. And I love watching the off season where you get the chance to see these guys training for the actual season and see the amount of crazy work that goes into it for these 48-minute games. You know, it's like, yeah, absolutely.
So as far as practice routine, or I don't even want to call it practice, but like this is a good question for Larry and Thomas, I guess. When you're working on something, like when you're getting in there and you're practicing for however many hours a day, whether it be 6, 8, whatever, do you kind of concentrate on one thing for the majority of the time, or you kind of like brush upon a whole bunch of different things?
For me personally, I attack one thing at a time very aggressively, and if it's something I can't do well, then I just hit that and hit it and hit it until I've hit a stumbling block, or I'm just done for the day or whatever. And then the next day I'll just keep going. I'll start to play regular and stuff like that, but I won't practice anything else. I'll just hit the one thing until it kind of feels comfortable or it's at an acceptable level, and then I can incorporate it into my day-to-day playing. You know, it's like, I think a lot of, you know, guitar players probably do this, but for me, I have like licks and riffs and ways I can play things, and then the bit that's over here that I can't quite do yet, I won't bring into the day-to-day playing until I'm like super comfortable with it. And then I'll go, okay, I can bring that in. It's not going to fall apart halfway through, you know. So once you get comfortable with doing something in succession. What about you, Larry? Do you kind of practice? I mean, I actually don't practice very often these days. I'm probably more recording and playing. But when I do get the chance to, like, today I'm going to spend 2 hours or 3 hours practicing, that's how I do it. But what about you, Larry?
I wish. I tend to do more playing than practicing something specific. Then I might work on a little bit, but I don't really attack it as much as I should attack it. It takes me work on some new technique stuff. So
Yeah,
I sit down and work on a specific technique. That's why your technique is just ridiculously amazing. Anyway, but
thank you, man.
Yeah, I work.
Yeah, you know, and I think different players and different styles of music lend themselves to different things, and you know, and if you have like all these things in the bag, it's like, for me, it's like I took a long time off from playing, so I really wanted to get certain things better. I wanted to have better picking mechanics, and I wanted to play with less gain, so the accents and stuff, you know, even little things like you know, if I'm doing like a chromatic run, you know, I'd probably practice the chromatic bit quite a lot, and I just want like each note to have like a pop and firework, you know, like a machine gun, bah, 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 bah. You know, it's like, for me, a big thing that I sort of practice is note syncing. You know, it's like how bang on each note is. So it's like, the sort of quality of the note, it's really probably difficult to explain, but like, even if it's a slow or just one note, just the quality of the notes in terms of how you're syncing the left and right hand.
Well, the dynamics, you know, that type of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, it's like.
All right, now Larry, you go.
But you know, it's just like I'll do like, and I'll just look for the little bits between the notes, which is like, oh, that's, you know, there's a little bit of a fluffy note there. I can work on that, you know. So it's just like little details like that. I kind of like to get better. I think it's just for self-satisfaction. A lot of times, some of these things don't come through all the time, but
you know you're playing.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Wow. Was the Steve Vai guitar pick that Budnick wore around his neck legit? Now you know who Budnick is, right?
I don't know who that is.
That's Thomas's old singer.
Oh.
In Bad for Good.
Yeah. It probably was, because around about that time might have been the end of the shooting for some of the stuff he was doing in the beginning of the Steve Vai. produced Bad for Good stuff, you know. And those original old school, like Light Without Heat, sort of Steve Vai, Passion Warfare plectrums. I think it was a bunch with
Green.
the yeah.
I've got a ton of them.
The neon sort of ones, yeah.
I've got a ton of Steve's picks and here's.
Oh.
Wait, what are those?
Steve's guitar picks. Well, they're all kinds of everyone's picks, you know.
Nice.
Autograph picks, but
I need to send somebody my address.
I've got Steve's picks from Whitesnake.
Vi Snake, come on, that was Vi Snake.
I've got. I know I have one from Eat 'Em and Smile, which has a really nice.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah. And one from Skyscraper, but most of them are the green Light Without Heat picks.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was staying in an apartment where it wasn't that far away from the old GIT, and there was some guys, funny enough, which I'm friends with on Facebook now, but it was so bad. I mean, we were just like, you know, kind of mean, not in a bad way, but they were really big Steve Vai fans, and me and my older brother would be like, you know, we had bags from the studio, and we like throwing them in a swimming pool, and they'd dive in and sort of deep dive 15 foot of water at the bottom and grab out these picks and stuff, you know.
There's one right there.
Yeah, that's the guys. Yeah, I remember those. Man, that's the logo as well. That's so surreal seeing that.
Well, I'm still waiting for one of Larry's original picks. The one that's in the headstock.
I still have it.
On the back of if you have one, Larry, man, I'm gonna need it.
You got to give it up.
All right, if I find it's yours.
Yeah.
I just haven't found one.
I've got a few of those too.
Oh,
Hey,
yo,
They're in that
Sam.
photo.
So Sam just asked a question in the chat room, and me and Sam go way back, and Sam is a crazy awesome dude. And he asks, what's your funniest memory of rehearsing at Mate's Rehearsal Studios? And we had, you know, that rehearsal room just had so many crazy stuff go down in it. But I remember one time, I think the label came to see how the video sort of prep was getting ready, because we're getting ready to shoot a video, you know. And one of my guitars, you know, I thought it'd be super cool to do the old get it round the head, you know. I mean, you know, you do that and then you go in for the solo. It's gonna look very cool, right? But somehow, you know, I don't know who it was, like, you know, A&R guy, record execs, is sitting on the leather couch watching it all go down, and you know, yeah, it's going good, it's going good. Right before the solo, I decided to kind of throw the guitar around the neck, and then the strap lock broke off, and the guitar just went flying straight through the ladies' or gentlemen's bathroom wall, and the guitar is just like stuck in the wall. And I'm like, let me go get another guitar. I was just like,
please tell me that was recorded.
It wasn't recorded, but it was just one of those, like, you know, the drums keep going, the bass keeps going, and everybody's like, do we keep going? Do we stop? A nice 30 seconds. There's nothing better than, you know, 30 seconds of like the most awkward feeling. It feels like 30 minutes. I love those moments.
Sam asked another question. He said, would you do a G3 tour?
100%.
Someone get Satriani on the line right now.
Get him on the line. Yeah. I've played with Joe a couple of times in my hometown. Obviously, you know, way back in the day, but he would play here in Newcastle. And because Bad for Good went on the road with Joe Satriani, played maybe like 30 shows or something like that, quite a few shows from Canada to New York. Great, and he was a very cool guy and a great live guitar player. Sounds, you know, always has great tone. Yeah, so if there was an opportunity to do that, I think I would do that.
Well, I think it's about time for them to up the ante. G4, Satriani, Vai, Larry Mitchell, Thomas McRocklin. I mean, come on, let's make it happen, boys.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, and I want front row seats. Actually, I'll probably tech for Larry.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
That'd be awesome.
Hilarious.
But Larry, if I tech for you, we got to get the 16 space rack out and like the 12 Harkey 412s.
With that 16 space shock mount rack with one XFX3 in it. That's it.
just loads of blanking plates.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Thomas,
Awesome.
are you using a two? What are you using? A rack mount?
I'm using an XL Plus, yeah, Fractal XL Plus. Recently, my thing is I've been getting the Fractal to do like a matchless clean sound, and then I've been using a precision drive with a free Horizon Devices precision drive in front of the Friedman Dirty Shirley, and I've been really liking that way of working. It's like you get a response that just feels even more like an amp in some cases. Just got a really nice sort of feel about it. So that's been cool. I've been using the Wampler Plexi Drive Deluxe a little bit as well. That's another cool gain pedal. But for the most part, yeah, all the stuff is through the Fractal. And I think for me, the biggest thing that really changed how I got the tones from the Fractals when I found certain IRs. I used the Valhalla impulse responses, and everybody's taste again is different. You know what you like and stuff, but there's about 5 or 6 of their impulse responses that I've used, and I just have different versions of maybe a different amp. Like I'll have a PV6160 instead of a Plexi, but the effects chain's all the same. And then go that way. But obviously when I track into the audio interface, strip the reverb and delay off and put those on in post later on. But Fractal is the workhorse for all the guitar tones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds out of it.
Yeah, I love it. And that last update that they did with the new Friedman stuff on it. Hey, look at that cute little guy.
This is one of the loves of my life. This is Snickers.
Sneakers.
Yeah.
She looks cute.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good little girl.
Very similar to a dog my dad had until not so long ago. And awesome dogs.
Yeah. She's not
So much personality.
very noisy. She's not very noisy at all. She's not your typical Chihuahua.
Yeah. Pretty timid. Does she like the guitars?
She does. She doesn't go crazy, when I turn up loud, because it's always loud here.
Yeah.
And I have a big black lab as well that's sitting over here.
Ah, okay. Contrast. That'll look good when you take them both out at the same time.
Thomas, my wife has a quick question.
Okay.
She wants to know, how are you chosen to be little Stevie Vai in the audience's listening video?
Oh, that's a good question. So I met Steve just by chance. Phone's going crazy. Back in '88, and again, it's like this is a pre-internet day, so it's like a lot of these opportunities and situations would come about just from my dad. A little bit of hustle, a bit of old school hustle. We'd just drive somewhere, do something would happen. So we drove down to Donington, where it's what would be called the Download Festival now. But back in the day, it was like Monsters of Rock. So I'm like 8 years old. The floral gem that we talked about earlier had recently arrived. I'm sitting in the back of my dad's car, just kind of playing in this sort of where the sort of trucks were. And by chance, one of Steve's guitar techs sees me playing the gem. And I think that would have been like probably maybe one of the few gems they probably saw in the UK, because they're just brand new out. And then a couple of seconds later, it's like, come here, Steve wants to see you. So the next thing you know, I'm in Steve's trailer. Greg Bissonette was there. and my dad, and then I played Tobacco Road for him. You know, the old
Yes.
and then I do the squeal. I get as far as that, and the squeal's on, and then the whole, you know, everybody's just in fits and laughter, and then we just stayed in contact from then, really. And yeah, I'll get letters and occasional calls and stuff. And then not long later, Steve was obviously either releasing or working on Passion Warfare. And then I got the call to go over to kind of do the video for it. And it was shot in Florida at a real school. And it was a lot of fun. And I was still, like, back then, like, really shy. You know, it's like, on the playing side of things, not shy, but, like, you know, if you ever saw some early talk show stuff or interviews, that'd be really, it was very difficult to get, like, 2 or 3 words out of me, you know. But done the video. And that was fun. Apart from when they blew that clock up behind me and didn't tell me they were going to do that. That wasn't so fun.
The what? Say that again?
When they blew that clock up, you see, there's like a scene in the video where I'm like playing on the desk or something, and then they blew a clock up, but they didn't tell me they were going to blow the clock up. So you just see me like going, like, and it's literally me like just thinking I'm about to die. Yeah.
Man.
Well, since we're on a Steve Vai type questions, would you like to tell us a couple stories about the 2 amazing guitars that Steve gave you?
Yeah, sure. Well, funny enough, the first guitar that I got from Steve was the Passion Warfare guitar. It's the guitar that's on the album. And
right here.
that is it. Yeah. So that's the airbrushed version of the guitar. So the real guitar of that has the monkey grip, which is that very guitar. Yeah.
They did a better job than NASA on the Photoshop here, the airbrush. Because look at that. I mean, you can't tell.
No, that's good. It's weird, you know. I'm sure there's some early versions of the CDs that have an airbrushed version, because
There are.
Oh, okay. So it's not me going crazy, because I always thought, like, the one I had, the CD, there was a handle on the guitar, and then later on there's like, you know.
Yeah, there it is with the handle. Yep.
There we go. So yeah, at the end of the of that video, yeah, we kept in contact, and then not long after it, I was in the Beverly Hills Hotel, and there was a kind of knock at the door, and the guy who was working with Ibanez at the time came in with a guitar case and a cassette, and it was the copy of Passion Warfare before it kind of came out, and then the guitar on the case turned out to be a guitar from Steve, which was the Passion Warfare 7-strings. It's like pretty crazy, an amazing guitar. And it actually sounds great as well. You know, it's like when I fired up for some videos about a year or so ago, just cleaned down, put some fresh set of strings on it, and obviously it's in storage now. I don't really play it, but when I did fire it up, it's got a great tone, and the neck's really nice on it. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool guitar.
I've got a funny story about that guitar, actually.
Okay.
I worked for Joe DeSpagni when that guitar had its handle put in it.
Okay, because the handle's a little bit further back, right?
Yeah, Joe put the handle in, and then multicolored the guitar, and we were like in awe of the guitar. Remember, the body was just sitting there; we were just in awe of it. And then, you know, when we presented it to Steve, he had this big smile on his face, and when he saw the handle, the smile went to this. Oh my God! What'd you do to the guitar? He did not want He didn't want the handle in the guitar. He was furious that the handle was in the guitar.
Right. Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't realize that. Yeah. Right. So I guess the Universe guitars, obviously you didn't want the handle, but the Gems wanted the handle. Gotcha. Right. Yeah, it is. It's a weird one, because when you pick it up by the handle, they kind of, it does this a little bit.
Yeah, it's not in the it's not in the spot that they normally in. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so the other one is the Flame guitar. You know, and that was just like, you know, when I was recording the Band for Good record at the Mothership, out the back of Steve's old house was the guitar vault. And when we'd finish up, you know, he'd go and work on his Harley and do whatever. And I would just, a lot of the time, I'd go out to the guitar vault, and there's a couple of amps there. But all these guitars were just on racks, you know. It's not like the current place where they're all on the wall on display, you know. They're all just like in cases and stuff, so you could just pull them out. And I was like growing up, like, you know, really, you know, looking at all the Edelman Smile stuff and the Skyscraper album, and seeing, you know, the heart-shaped guitars and stuff. So I'll be in the vault, kind of just playing on all these different guitars. But the one I'd probably play on the most was the flame guitar. And every time he'd come in and maybe check in on me, see where the hell I disappeared to, he'd kind of find me playing the flame guitar, you know, probably reenacting some of the moves from the David Lee Roth days, I guess. And but one day it was like we finished tracking. It was actually my birthday in the studio that day, and he gave me that guitar for my birthday in the studio. I was like,
that's amazing.
Man.
In fact, that there is a picture of that as well. Yeah. So that moment you see, which I posted on Instagram, it was on my birthday, and it was probably was the moment where he gave me that guitar. So
Now, that guitar had the Ibanez neck on it, or did it have the performance neck on it at the time?
that's the Ibanez guitar neck. Yeah. I think there was like maybe 3 or so, and Richard, I think, was a guy that worked in the studio. Was a very cool guy. I think he maybe got one. I don't know where the other ones went. But yeah, the one I have is with the Ibanez neck.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool. It's actually it also has a nice tone. It's a bit weird to sit and play because obviously it's a bit jaggedy. You know, you put on one and then your left leg's getting a little bit jaggy, and obviously you always feel like you're going to snap the pieces off, which would be an absolute disaster.
Wow.
Totally comments.
That's stories. Anyone else have any questions?
Probably sell that guitar and buy a house or a couple houses.
Well, I know it's worth at least 10 grand because I think Steve sells all of his guitars for $10,000 for charity. I think you can buy any one of Steve's guitars for $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I believe that he will sell you any one of his guitars, except for I'm sure the the Green Meanie or.
Well, and he's not selling his main ones, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, pretty much. But I mean, he just sold the Cherry Blossom guitar for $10,000, which is a custom Ibanez that he's been using on the last few tours. He sells his guitars, and the money goes to proceeds to whatever charity he does. I'm not sure.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I've been trying to sell my guitars for $10,000. It's just not working.
And then rebuy them back. Nice.
Blank Palette says, is that a Kiesel guitar, or are you just happy to see us?
Both. We are very happy to see you here. And also the Kiesel guitar is very happy to see you as well.
Mm-hmm. And somebody asked about the frets before, what size. They knew they were stainless steel, but they didn't know what size frets they were on there.
Medium jumbo.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
Very
yeah.
cool.
Medium jumbo.
Awesome.
Big enough.
So after using the stainless steel, can you go back to anything else?
Yeah, I mean, if I all my gems from the 80s, they're on the original nickel frets. And, some people wear the frets down, and I don't seem to wear frets down. All of them guitars are on the original frets, and there's still loads to go on them. So I pick really hard, but I guess I fret maybe slightly lighter. I don't know. But yeah, it's like, if I pick up another guitar, like even till recently when I was playing the blue RG, that doesn't have stainless steel frets. Only the red RG that I was using has stainless. So it's just a slight preference thing, If you had the choice, I would take stainless steel. And some things like picks and pickups, you really, really want to have that option. But I think when it comes to the frets, it's just a cool thing that I like because I bend a lot. But it's, if it turned out that Kiesel maybe didn't do stainless steel, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I'd still be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because some of our favorite guitars, like I love the EVH Wolfgangs, and they
Yeah.
all come with stainless steel frets.
Right, right.
Like the Japanese ones and the Chinese ones,
Yeah.
and anything going forward, it's like I want to have those same frets on them.
Yeah.
Jay feels the same way. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've picked up a few of those guitars, and they're very cool. They're really nice. Yeah. Funny enough, I never really played like the Floyds and stuff. I was always like the Edge and later the Edge Pro, which is also why I really like this kind of bridge as well. Although I don't actually use the bar a lot. You see, like a lot of the time I just leave the bar out, because if I use the trem, it's more like I'll do it for like accents. So I'll go like, I'll bash it a little bit, like. Just like that. So I don't tend to do that very often. But the profile of this hip shot Kiesel trem is very, very flat, and I pick quite far back. So with the if I ever play like a jam, which is not often, it's basically this part of the wrist starts clanging right into the bridge, and it just feels super uncomfortable. So I really like the hip shot trem that Kiesel uses, very flat, and just allows you to pick further back as well.
Yeah, it looks really cool too. It kind of looks like a trans trem Steinberger thing.
Yeah, exactly. No, I like him, and obviously just tuning right there on the edge, just in case anybody doesn't get that question a lot. And the tuning stability is very good on them as well.
It sounds like it. Sounds like your guitar is still great in tune. Play an open E chord. Perfect.
Sounds great, man.
There you go. That sounds great. So Michael Smith has a question. He says, he asks if you're working on any new material for a new record, and are there any plans for a tour in the States?
There's a bunch of new. So if you haven't saw, was it Michael?
Yes.
Yeah, Michael Smith.
Gotcha. The new project that I've been working on recently is a collaboration with Hutch. It's called McRocklin and Hutch. And when I took some time off from all that, the genres that I really got into was electronic, and that never really went away. So when I got the opportunity to work with Hutch and do kind of electronic music, but with guitar on the top, it was just like instantly, it was something I was really very keen on doing and really into. So we've got about 5 tracks done and ready to go now, and we're just working so fast on like new material. So the first track comes out on Monday, All I Want From You. And then we're going to just start queuing them up. So you'll just start seeing almost like monthly releases from McRocklin and Hutch. And it's going to be some really cool stuff, I think. So that is just going to be a continuous thing now. And the fact that I'm not doing all the electronic stuff, it means that I have more time to do faster updates, because that New Beginnings EP took quite a while to kind of get to the point where I was like, okay, we're just going to draw a line under it, So separate to that, I'm also working on other McRocklin stuff as well, which is probably a little bit more kind of guitar focused type of stuff, but still delivered in a way which is not ramming guitar down people's, sort of throats, because I personally have a really short attention span for like just listen to shred music, It's like I just a couple of minutes, and I appreciate like some amazing stuff, but some grooves, some kind of phrasing, and kind of a nice balance is really what I'm into. Yeah, absolutely. So there's definitely going to be a lot more releases in general from myself and McRocklin and Hutch. And the US, we'd love to take it on the road over there, if there's it's something, just cranking it up and just getting that feel. And I've kind of rehearsed the New Beginning stuff live, and it feels great. The stuff that we're working on now, I'm sure also would translate really well live. That'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, if we get the opportunity to take it on the road in the US, 100%, we'd love to do it. It'd be great.
Cool.
Very easily done as well. One laptop, one fractal,
Yeah.
one headless guitar. We're done.
Is there anything that you could maybe queue up for us that you could play over so that we could hear?
The audio interface is gonna be.
If it can't be done, it's not a big deal. I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah, I know what would happen. I'd load Ableton and it would bomb out all these drivers. I know it. Yeah, unfortunately. I will have a look in the background though and see if there's any way I can kind of fire that up. But there is previews on my Instagram where it's like I have had the track, I've done a solo over it, and I'm thinking that's maybe an idea, and I put the video out, and then I see the comments, I ask on the stories, and I love having that engagement with the guys on Instagram. It's very cool. It's just rapid to have that feedback, and then often with the feedback from all the comments and stuff, I'll decide, okay, people like that bit, I'll keep that in. And
yeah, I got outvoted last week. You had that one with like fast lick or not fast lick. I voted not fast lick, but it was like 80-something% fast lick, and I was like, well, I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I think all of Instagram will always go for speed, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I have a question.
Lost you,
yes,
Larry.
yes, Michael.
Say something?
Huh?
On the good, we
Oh, Larry's connection's gone.
Yeah, we lost Larry.
The ship's taking him away.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Very choppy, Larry.
Thomas, on the Bad for Good record, we share a writing credit. Can you tell me how that came about?
It's on Curious Intentions, right? It's this track. Does that ring a bell?
You played that.
That's it.
Yeah, and I don't know how exactly that came about, but I remember listening to your stuff and really, really liking it. And I might have really, really liked it just a little bit too much. So I probably took like a little bit of that sort of groove from one of your ideas or tracks. I can't remember exactly, but I remember like, you know, it was a very cool track that you had. And it had a very kind of cool groove about it. It's like a lot of swag about it. So, but yeah, you totally just reminded me, man. We do share a writing credit on that. That's really cool.
I was on the Tracy Chapman tour and I got a call from and I'm like, why are you calling me about?
Oh, right, okay. That's it. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it must have been like a record or an EP or a track that you had out, and it must have had some big guns and influence on me, man. Nice.
Okay. All right. Cool. Very cool.
Sphere 282 is complimenting one of your songs off of New Beginnings, Storms. Said it's awesome.
Storms. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Storms is it's an interesting track because it's like in C standard. So it's like, yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one how I go about playing that one live, because when I did it at NAMM, I used like a pitch shifter and it worked pretty well. So I had a normal guitar. You just have to play very monophonic for those bits and then play the regular bits. Play those bits in C, but when it comes to rhythm bits, you have to like, but it's very, you know, it's like, I was using an Axe 8 of the Fractal at NAMM, and I'd literally just got the presets done like the night before I was there. So it was like, so setting scenes, it's really dangerous. Like, if you don't remember, because I had a patch per song and I did like 6 tracks at NAMM, and you have a patch per song and a scene per part of the song, you get that scene wrong and you're playing in C standard. Oh, it's a bad combination. It's like this sort of sound. It's really so yeah. It was like Yeah, so I maybe should have like an actual pitch pedal if I'm going to do that one live, because normally it'd be 50-50 if I'm going to get the right scene for the right bit on that track. So yeah. But thank you anyway. It's a fun track to play.
Is that a octave that when you were playing that riff, is that a higher octave?
A lower octave, yeah. So I really like that. I really like the low sound.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That sounds great. More playing, please.
Yeah.
Nice. You know country and western. Very good.
Hey,
Awesome.
Thomas, can you play that Willie track? Can you play the song from Willy Wonka?
That was something like oh yeah. Yeah, something like that.
Very cool.
Yeah, something like that. The thing is, with those Instagram videos, I do them in like 10 or 15 minutes. I go, oh, I'll play something. Okay, that'll do. Get the camera, hit record, chop it down a little bit, and then post, and then it's forgotten about, So that's the way I do Instagram with the videos.
Okay.
Well, speaking of
Very
Instagram
cool, though.
videos, do you happen to have a banana nearby?
People like that video. Oh, it's funny.
But you need to have that yellow smiley face over your head.
Yeah, exactly.
That was funny. That was like literally, you had me on the floor.
It's just, yeah. You gotta have a little bit of fun, And it's like even that last one I posted, it's just like, the dead note. That thing there, the video I posted today. My dad used to do this lick where he'd do this big build up, that. Really build, and then at the end of it, you'd on purposely miss the note, so you just hit the fretboard. And I was a kid. I used to just laugh every time you do it.
Yeah, that was a buckethead moment.
Yep, exactly. And so yeah, you gotta have some fun and not take it all too seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes. Oh God.
So what are you thinking, Johnny?
Wow. Well, I know it's much later where Thomas, where you are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like Club 11.
You feeling all right?
I've got at least 5 minutes left in me. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. Oh no, 2-3 o'clock's been my normal bedtime hour, so I'm good. You just continue.
Well, Johnny, you got some questions, right? You have a couple?
Yeah. Well, I've got a question for Larry.
Ooh, yeah.
What'd
now
you
we're
have for
talking.
lunch today?
Yeah.
A ShamWow, Thomas? You using a ShamWow on your guitar there?
A little bit of microfiber, yeah, exactly, yeah. It's got to be done.
Mm-hmm. Larry, since you're on tour, do you have a show tonight?
Private show tonight, yes. In fact, I'm gonna. Hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I played live in Washington.
No. Cool.
I missed something.
Yeah, you're coming in really choppy, Larry.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll be fixed in the playback. You think, or no?
No.
Yeah.
I'm doubting it. I think we've hit Larry's max bit rate.
Yeah. He's used up all his bandwidth for the year.
Yeah. He's on dial-up.
Larry, if you can hear me, can you jump on Wi-Fi? Is there Wi-Fi there where you're at?
I'm Wi-Fi.
Oh.
He's like dial-up Wi-Fi.
He's using the guitar strings for the antennas.
Right.
Yes.
But he's got sunshine. It looks beautiful anyway. The man's got taste.
I was in it works so well outside.
Huh?
Am I still choppy?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh,
We're
no.
getting some sentences.
It's
Yeah,
like
we got to piece it together here.
like
I don't know. I don't know why.
oh, there you are.
Yeah. Now we hear you.
Okay. I'm in now. Maybe I'm closer to the router, to the wire. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Shall I play the country music again whilst we're,
Man.
Is that fixed his Wi-Fi?
No, that set it back. That set it back. Now he doesn't even have dial-up. Carrier pigeon now.
Yeah, expect the fax any day now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Never be afraid to make mistakes. That's another thing. Guitar players always are. They kind of do this thing. They limit their potential output because that lick there is like the random G just popped in when I was playing it. You make a mistake, it's like, oh, so what? It's like, this is what we do. We play, and mistakes happen. And I think a lot of guitar players, especially, they're a little bit shy, a little bit kind of, they have that guitar store syndrome. They just go into a certain mode, and the barriers and the restrictions and everything they worked on, they go, oh, I'm not going to do that because I might make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But some random advice.
No, you're right.
It's great advice. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Advice. I do a lot face day, and a lot of times I just play songs I haven't played in a long time, and I make mistakes. The other Tuesday in one of my songs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
that was awesome. That was cool. I saw the look on your face, like, oh crap, but there it is, and you got back in.
Well, it's like it's how you recover. And
well, here's my thing. When a seasoned pro or celebrity guitar player, when they make mistakes, it makes it that much cooler. It's that much cooler because it just shows that even the best players are not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So,
Absolutely.
you can't be upset when you do something not so good. Everyone makes mistakes. Doesn't matter how good you are, how well known you are.
Absolutely.
Everyone
we all do. And, obviously some people, they put out videos and the perfection and stuff. But it's why I like every week on Sunday I go live and we just jam, we play, answer some questions. And, I think that is a good way of getting over like the fear some people have of making mistakes, because it just happens, doesn't it? And I think it's a fun thing, right? Somebody just said, was it Strata Day today?
Yes. Clayton. Good to see you, man.
Oh, look at you with the SRV.
Oh, snap.
Look at the color on that. That's That's a little different than the most that I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that burst. They usually look like this.
Oh, okay.
That's a little different. That's
a bit more browny. Yeah. It's a cool guitar. Yeah, it's a nice tone. The old Texas specials on it. Very nice. A lot of fun. Don't play it, but a lot of fun.
Very cool. What else you got there? Oh,
Yeah.
Look at that.
Show and tell time.
Les Paul Light. That's what that's called.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
All
Why?
right.
Because it's half the thickness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's super light. I mean, it's
I think
thin.
that was 1988. That guitar came out, maybe.
Right. It was the one I looked at the magazines every night until it eventually arrived, and yeah, it was. And then by the time it arrived, I'd already hit the Ibanez thing. But yeah, I mean, it's faded a lot actually since those days, you know. But it's super cool.
There's a really cool photo of Les Paul himself playing one of those in a or.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
you know what? Thomas, I'll find it and I'll send it to you.
That would be amazing because you know, I was a huge fan of just listening to him play and stuff. Great. I used to love that type of stuff, and Danny Gatton and all those guys, you know, they were like some of my favorite guitar players to listen to, you know. Even as a kid, you know, you'd think, oh, it's like Van Halen, Steve Vai, and Randy Rhoads, and that was a huge part of it. But then Django Reinhardt, Danny Gatton, Les Paul, you know, and all these different kind of guys, the influence started to come from all of that stuff. And I think that had a even bigger impact on the playing than some of the classic iconic shred rock guys.
Sure. Absolutely.
Johnny, what was your question for Larry now that he's
Oh, Larry.
Yes.
I think he answered it.
I didn't hear the question.
You didn't ask the question. Oh, about where he's
I asked
playing.
him if he's playing a show tonight.
Oh,
yeah.
And he said
Yeah, but now he can actually say it where everyone could hear it.
Oh, it's a private show. But yes, playing a show in Gig Harbor. I played a public show last night in Fife, Washington. Tonight's in Gig Harbor, Washington.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's one of my solo shows where I tell stories about the songs and play and acoustic and electric. It's all fun.
And you got I went to 2 of those shows in the very recent past, last month, and his stories. I mean, first of all, Larry's playing is off the charts. I'm not saying that because we're buddies.
Really?
I'm not saying that because we're buddies. I'm telling you that his playing is off the charts, and his stories. If you think his playing is off the charts, his playing is like ridiculous, and then his stories are like, really? That's insane. Because his stories are they're like he could be a storyteller. That's how good they are, and they're all like, I can't believe that happened to you, Larry. I can't believe that happened to you, Larry. I can't believe that happened to you, and they're all for real.
You were there for some of those.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, but the ones in Sweden, was it Sweden or Switzerland? That Sweden. Yeah, you got to make. If you haven't been to one of Larry's storytelling shows, you got to go because it is super duper entertaining.
Thanks, Dave. It's fun. I've led an interesting life, so to say. I have fun, but I think it's time for me to get out. I was hoping I had texted a mutual friend of Thomas and I's, and hopefully he was going to. I was hoping he would chime in, but I haven't heard back yet.
Next
Thomas,
time.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Next time.
Yeah, we can do this again.
But it's been great to see you, Larry. I mean, it's like so many years and stuff, and I can't wait to kind of meet up again, and especially if you get the opportunity to do some jamming and stuff in January. That's going to be just ridiculously fun, man. So we're going to definitely stay in contact, but it's been good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's great to see you and hear you, especially every day on Instagram.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate it, dude.
All right.
Larry, great seeing you again.
Yeah, thanks for doing this, Larry. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Johnny.
Yeah. Anytime, Larry.
I'll see you
Man.
When
guys.
are you you're coming back here on the 13th? Is that correct? Of September?
I'm coming in on the 14th, but I'm leaving on the morning of the 15th, and then I'll be back for the 16th.
Okay, so just let me know what you need from me.
Okay, I will.
And Larry, when you get a chance, sometime when you get home, give me a quick call. I just have some questions about some MIDI drumming preferences that you might have.
Okay, I'll give you a call tomorrow. I won't be home until like September 26th or 27th.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Give me a call tomorrow.
I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. All right. Take it easy, guys.
Have a great gig, Larry.
Take it easy. Bye.
Bye, Larry. Bye.
Larry Mitchell, everybody. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Guy totally rocks. Unbelievable player.
I'm kind of wondering whether or not. Now I'm wondering who that friend is.
Well, shh.
Yeah. The mutual.
Next time.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do it again then. So do you have any more questions for Thomas here? I know.
I've been typing in the chat.
Yeah, I've noticed. I noticed your fingers have been doing the walking.
But absolutely, if you guys have questions or.
I saw a question from Caleb earlier. I don't know if he asked it or not, or if you answered it. He was asking when you saw Eddie Van Halen at the Bill and Ted thing, was that the only time you've hung out with him?
No, Eddie Van Halen had called me a little bastard a couple of times at NAMM show in the nicest possible way he could have done it. And he had just had like I suspect a few drinks, and he'd grab and hug me tight and say, "Come here, you little." And it was almost like little snippets. So I never really spent a great deal of time chatting to Eddie, but those little nuggets of "Come here, you little beep,"
Your little
was always there, and it happened like 3 times or something. So I think he was probably like aware of me and stuff, and especially obviously I was very close with Steve and stuff. Yeah, so I never really went to a movie or had dinner with him, but obviously he was a huge fan of his. I mean, that the early Van Halen stuff is some of my favorite records to this day. So very, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine those were just terms of endearment towards you. Yeah, that's just his way. He's
no, and that's exactly how I took it. It wasn't. Eddie's so mean to me, So no, it was a very cool thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Anytime you get a hug from Eddie Van Halen, it's cool, no matter what he calls you.
Yeah, 100%.
You fat thing. Come on,
Yeah.
Yeah. He when I met him like 4 or 5 years ago or something. He gave me a fist bump to the chest.
Oh, nice.
Which was pretty cool. Like he told me a joke and then basically punched me in the chest and was laughing. And I was like, unbelievable. And this is
washing my chest again.
Yeah, I never have.
It's the same shirt he wore then. He hasn't taken it off.
But he's just a normal dude. He's just a normal guy, And I get
he's for a lot of these guys.
I get a lot of heat on Facebook when I say that, because everybody's like, no, he's God, he's the king, but he's just a normal dude. But we just all love, what he does.
Yeah. I think. Well, that's very cool. I think a lot of these big players. I mean, it's like they have a certain hype around them, and there's no denying they have that status because they're so amazingly good at what they do. But when you're sitting down and talking to a lot of these guys at the same time, as you find out, obviously it's just normal dudes like normal things,
Mm-hmm.
Pizzas.
Yeah.
Chills. Same stuff we do.
We got a couple questions about the Kiesel guitar, Thomas. About
all right.
Michael Smith is asking, and who else? Blank Palette. So
Let's have them.
How much input do you have when you work with Kiesel on a guitar? And Blank Palette asked if you can just talk about that specific guitar again.
Yeah. So this guitar was sent as a test to see if I like Kiesel. This, is a test. This test guitar that they sent to me just so happened to just be like the best guitar that I'd ever played, which brought up about the whole thing of like, we need to do something here. We can't let this opportunity go. So I love the guitar. It's a Swamp Ash body. It's a 5-piece neck. It's got the thin neck profile, stainless steel frets. It's got Fishman Fluence open core, Fender Super 5-way switch, because if you want to use Fishman pickups with a 5-way, you've got to use the Fender Super 5-way switch. And it's got the trem on it. Push-pull on the tone part for the second profile. So it's just running D'Addario coated NYXL strings, 9-42. I use 9-42s. But this guitar, apart from telling them that I play with a trem, I like Fishman pickups. They initially sent it with the Fishman modern pickups, which sounded great as well. But Fishman had these just released recently, and I saw they did them in white, and thought it'd be cool to try them out. But they sound great as well. So I didn't, apart from them seeing what I was playing currently and knowing that obviously I would like a trem, I probably would like the thinner neck profile. And what would be a good balanced choice? Obviously play a lot of guitars that might be like a basswood body. So they came with the Swamp Ash. The next guitar which is coming is going to be also a headless. I am really digging the headless 5. I think it just plays and feels really cool. So the next one is a Zeus, which is a single cut. Where I had more input with that would be probably a similar amount of input, apart from a few things, as you would just as a normal customer going on their site and speccing it out. So in terms of the wood weight, that's where we kind of changed things. I wanted something maybe a little bit lighter, so we've got a kind of lighter Swamp Ash body. Poplar bill top. It's going to be raw tone. So if you can see right now, I mean, it's like this guitar is quite glary. And if I shoot a lot of videos in front of cameras and stuff, I wanted something that'll be less reflective. So going with the raw tone finish, which I'm quite excited about, because even when you just get a little bit warm on any guitar that's glossy, you get that little bit of sort of stick, and it's never enough to be a problem. But if you can get rid of it, then even better. And it's going to have the Tosin pickups in it, the Fishman Tosin set, and they're probably my favorite set of pickups. So a lot of that stuff you could probably you could send your own pickups into Kiesel. You could pick out a lot of those options. And I think when it just comes down to like working with them as artists, you might have a little bit more choice over the weight of the wood. The giving them some examples of a burl top that you might like the look of, But ultimately, it's the same kind of stuff, and it's still very early days with Kiesel. So as we grow and become we get more opportunities to work closely together, I'm sure there'll be sort of tighter relationship kind of bonding and stuff there. So maybe just want to go to the States in January from now, for example. That'd be an opportunity to really test out some of the other materials, some of the other woods bodies, and there's things like zebra sort of wood and stuff like that, which I would like to just feel and try different options. And but at this point it was just like I wanted another main guitar and I wanted a certain look, but it was like fairly safe options that I knew that would at least play great. So but I haven't seen the pictures of the guitar yet, so I'm like.
And are you sticking with the maple for the new one as well, for the Zeus?
Oh no, I traditionally only play like rosewood boards. Rosewood coming out of the States is like, it's like the CITES ruling, so it's a big no-no. But I wanted it go in another direction anyway, because even though I normally play darker necks, since I've been playing this one so much, I've actually become like accustomed to playing the lighter board. Initially, it just felt a little funky because I can visualize the fretboard on darker boards, and at least I could a little bit easier than I could on lighter boards. It's just a weird thing. But there's a Zeus that's coming. It's going to have a KTB, so it's a color treated board.
Dave, you're echoing. Dave, you're echoing.
I am.
Yeah. Sorry, Thomas. Go.
Be right back.
Yep.
So it's going to be a KTB, which is a color treated board, and that's how they do their baked looking necks as well. But this is going to be black to purple, so pretty funky. Going to be funky. I don't know if they've done a black to purple, but apparently it's done now, so we'll see. They say it's going to look cool or rad.
Yeah, rad or sick. Or,
rad, sick, and I think if it's done how I think it's going to be done, I think I'm going to really, really like it. I know it's going to play great, but it's just you have so much choice. And it's just like every day you could come up with a totally different configuration that was just totally different to the last. So, but I really like the Cali Burst, and I like the purple Cali Burst. I've seen that finish on a few guitars, and I like Poplar Bill sort of top. So hopefully it should look rad or sick.
Or sick or super clean, right? That's another one.
Clean. Yeah. Exactly.
Now, as far as the Kiesel stuff too, I mean, anybody can go to the website or call them and literally get their own signature model guitar. I mean, they have so many options, and you can get whatever wood you want, whatever color. Like, it is really cool what they do.
Very cool. Yeah, quite amazing, and hence, a lot of people have asked about this Osiris on Instagram, and I'm sure probably a bunch of people have called them and says, I want the trans McRocklin, yeah, the one that he's playing on Instagram all the time. But yeah, it's an amazing guitar. I just didn't expect to have that relationship with a guitar so quick in terms of how good it feels in the hands, how well it plays, and how much you don't need to think about the guitar and just concentrate on what you're trying to get out of the guitar. It's like crazy.
Jimmy T is asking about the tremolo on it. If it's are the tuners easy to tune or turn? Is it easy?
They're fairly tight. What is a little bit interesting is, I mean, they're not going to accidentally move, but if I drop the top down to D, this has 3 springs. So if you did that on an Edge or any other trem system,
wow.
How that does that, I don't know. I don't even know if they know. But it's like, I just dropped it to D. It's a trem, and none of the other strings went out of tune at all. It's like, what?
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow, that's amazing for any floating bridge to not go out of tune. I mean, I understand if the bridge is sitting on the body,
yeah,
that's only floating, and that's not going out of tune. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's definitely floating. So yeah, I don't know how it does that. It's like a really weird thing that I discovered, but I don't really do drop D stuff, but the fact that it's even there's an option and you don't need to do use the tremolo and stoppers or anything like that. So it's pretty funky.
Someone needs to develop a D tuner for that thing. If it does that, yeah.
You know, I would think that it would probably be something like there's if you look at the old Kubicki Factor basses, it's something that where the headstock would be. Maybe there would be like some sort of thing. I don't know. They'd have to do it up there, I think.
Yeah, maybe it's a string length thing, and that's how it does it. I don't know, but a cool little addition anyway.
Yeah. And what about the when you have to restring it? Is it easy? Is it a pain in the butt?
I'm getting really good at it, and I'm on my 4th restring. So there's been a couple of times where I've chopped a few strings a bit short, and when you're doing that with D'Addario NYXLs. I mean, I'm quite fortunate I work with D'Addario, but if you're paying $20 a set and you chop them short,
yeah,
you're gonna be pretty pissed. So, but you could change the strings in 20 seconds if you wanted to, but you would have a little bit of jaggies coming out here. So if you want to be all like legit and have a smooth edge and not put somebody's eye out with the end of your guitar, then Kiesel have a video of doing it. But the way I do it is I put the ball into the tremor, and I put the ball in, I hold it in place, not like physically locked in, and I just measure it out. I give it like an extra ½ inch, and then I cut it immediately. So I work with a string that's like done. This is my length of string. Pop it in, put it in there, just peel it back a little bit so it's not sticking out the end. And you'd be surprised where the ball would be in terms of how far back it goes. So if you don't want the string too much because then you're going to have like these things sticking out the end and stuff. But you can probably get like 1.5 inches of movement out of this whole area with the string just turns.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
So once you realize that, then you can sort of visualize how much string you need on there. So I'd say like 3 or 4 times in, it's like it's quick, but it could be potentially really quick if you weren't bothered about those jaggies, because you can literally put a string in, put that in, lock it, done, up to pitch, very quick. It's certainly no worse than a Floyd or an Edge trem or anything like that. And I think it is a little bit quicker, especially when you start getting the string length right.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Man.
Yeah. So
So what's next?
What's next? Coffee.
Yeah, you haven't had any coffee this whole
I'm doing good.
show.
It's 11 o'clock. I have no coffee. So no, definitely in what's next is McRocklin and Hutch. That's going to be the thing, and that's going to be releasing tracks, kind of almost on clockwork, month by month. So first track's out on Monday.
Find it.
It's going to be everywhere. Play Music, iTunes, Spotify. The Bandcamp page will be going up on Sunday night. So it's going to be all those places. So whatever is your favorite, music distribution platform, it should be on there, hopefully. So yeah, working on those sort of tracks, and that's been a lot of fun. I mean, just having like really cool electronic music, sort of more the genre of synthwave and vaporwave. It's just the genre itself has such an influence from the 80s, which is like the period that I really got into shred guitaring as a young kid in. So it's kind of uncanny how much like the phrase and that style of electronic genre is kind of working and blending for us, So I'm super excited for everybody to hear what we've been working on with that. And then separate to that, people really want tutorials and in-depth tutorials. And so I'm going to be working on some new content for a platform that will be launching soon, which is going to be really, a sort of 20 licks type package. But I'll be talking through some of the techniques and why I apply certain things to it. So just it gives me a chance to, do a lick, but then have 5-10 minutes of explaining what's behind it and how you can use it in other situations and stuff, rather than just doing 20 licks at 3 different speeds. It's a little bit kind of like, not that exciting, So, so more content really on the tutorial side of things whilst working on new tracks. And then separate to the McRocklin and Hutch stuff, I'll be doing more tracks following on from the EP New Beginnings, and there's some stuff in the works for that. So, but it's certainly it's been great just playing again a lot and kind of making music and kind of interacting with the guys on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. It's been really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Michael Smith asks, do you give online lessons? And how, if you do, how to get in contact with you to do that?
Yeah, I do probably like a handful a week, and normally takes about a week or so to kind of get a slot. Yeah, so I do Skype lessons, and the easiest way, probably for the most part, is to actually DM me on Instagram. That's probably the best platform to get me on, even though it's like the busiest one for me. And then, get like 100 messages a day. Every one of those messages is answered, so kind of do catch up every day and during the day on Instagram. So definitely send me a message and we can get something scheduled up.
Awesome.
Well, before we let you go, Johnny, I wanted to do something with you. Kind of a rapid fire set. Somebody set an alarm for 60 seconds, and I'm just going to rip off some little tiny questions, and you're going to either pick the choices or give your own or say skip. You don't want to answer it.
No,
Okay.
you can't skip. Only Hagar does that.
So who wants to put the 60-second timer on their phone?
I can do it. Or Dave, do you want to do it?
Yeah, hang on. I got it here.
And start it after I read the first question, almost like Jeopardy. It's a Family Feud. The timer will start after I read the first question.
Want to do 30 seconds each?
Stopwatch.
God, I hope I get to all.
60 seconds.
60 seconds.
I've got it.
Your first question. I got it.
All right. The first question is a longer one, but the rest of them will be simple.
I'll start it from once he gives his answer.
Okay. Thomas, if you were on a desert island all by yourself for the rest of time, what one record would you bring with you?
Skyscraper by David Lee Roth. Next.
Sammy or Dave?
Dave.
Football or soccer?
Football.
Favorite Van Halen record?
The very first one.
Led Zeppelin or AC/DC?
Led Zeppelin.
Hendrix or Satriani?
Hendrix.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Larry Mitchell or Larry Mitchell?
Larry Mitchell.
Belts or suspenders?
Suspenders.
Pop-Tarts or toaster strudels?
Pop-Tarts.
CD or vinyl?
CD.
Blonde or brunette?
Brunette.
Ketchup or mustard?
Oh, I'd like both. Ketchup.
Stratocaster or Telecaster?
Strat. Oh, I like tellies.
Favorite season out of the 4?
Stop.
Oh, come on. I still got like 10 more.
That's
All
a
right, send it
minute.
for another 30. NWA or Public Enemy?
That's a tough one. I went through periods of listening to both heavily. Gonna go with NWA.
Favorite overdrive pedal?
That's not one or the other.
I know, but he gets to pick one now.
I'm gonna go with the Dirty Shirley by Friedman.
Xbox or PlayStation?
I'm more of a Steam guy online, but I'm gonna go with
Neither. Cheddar or Swiss?
Neither.
Cheddar.
Halloween or Christmas?
Christmas.
Macho Man or The Rock?
Macho Man. It's gotta be Randy Savage.
Boxer or Tidy Whities?
What?
Oh.
What's wrong with
Coffee or
you?
tea?
What's wrong with you?
Johnny Beane or David Nesdahl? Oh, we're out of time. Oh, man.
That was good. I'll take boxers though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Awesome. That was good. That I don't need the coffee. Yeah, I'll have I'm a coffee and a tea guy. That's the thing with a lot of your questions. A lot of them are like both,
Mhm.
Public
That's
Enemy
what
or
makes it hard.
NWA. Come on, what kind of question is that,
Yeah, that's
Okay, but yeah, go back to tea or coffee. Start off with the coffee. Casually drink the tea throughout the day, and then
Breakfast or second breakfast?
breakfast, then 11sies.
11. I heard of those
11sies.
too.
Yeah, just you just gotta keep it all going. Have a little snack, a banana, you know, a muffin.
Oh, by the way,
Banana,
the banana,
fish and chips.
banana or orange?
Banana.
Oh, I should have see after watching this top banana video. I should have thought of that. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. Nice.
Very good.
So following you on Instagram, your handle is just McRocklin. So everybody follow
McRocklin.
Thomas.
That would be great. I would love you forever. Just like that. Yeah, I love Instagram. It's like it's a good way of also seeing what's going on as well, because I do use the stories a lot, you know, so like 3 or 4 times during the day sometimes if I've got new products and I'm trying out new pedals and stuff. It's a great way of getting like a snapshot of what's going on. So I use that feature a lot. Every Sunday I go live at like 10 o'clock and, you know, try and have some other people come on for some chats and just have some jams over the tracks that I'm working on as well. So it's a good way of kind of seeing like the stuff which is going to come out in like a month's time. And it's just a lot of fun, you know. I love getting up into the comments and stuff, you know. I'm definitely not one of those accounts that post and put the phone down and walk away, you know. I really enjoy engaging and seeing people's opinions and chatting with people. So
I saw last week's when you had somebody join and it looked like they were at like Thanksgiving dinner and it was just pandemonium in the background.
Well, that's the thing.
like,
You just
right.
never. Some people must think, "Oh, I'm going to try it. I'm not going to get on live." And then, you know, I've had people like sitting on the toilet, people in, you know, all sorts of places, and they kind of look on their face. It's like you're live. It's like people are, and then they just bail quickly, you know. But so it's like 50-50 whether you get a good sort of joint live video, but it's fun when it happens, when you get a good one.
Yeah, it is cool that you can do that.
It's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah. That's why I think we enjoy doing this kind of thing. You know, it's great talking to people and meeting new people, and
absolutely.
Just it kind of takes the edge off, like you were talking about, you know, making mistakes on the guitar. You know, this is the same kind of thing. You know,
totally. No, dude. Yeah, exactly. And you know, I highly recommend, you know, guitar players that suffer from that, going live on their personal Facebook page and doing some playing, and then try it on Instagram. You know, you know, a lot of these apps have live features now, and you do that 2 or 3 times, and honestly, your ability to remain in your normal playing zone just gets better and better every time you do it. And then you'll do it in front of, you know, an audience of people, and you still stay in that correct comfort zone for being the kind of, you know, playing the best you can play, really. So definitely worth doing. Get over those fears.
It's like you were talking earlier about being shy as a kid and doing interviews and only getting a couple words out or whatever, right? Yeah. I was the same way up until I was like 20 or 25.
Up until a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Up until, you know, last week. And doing stuff like this has made it a lot easier for me just to talk to people. And
sure. Yeah, and you've got such a wonderful full sounding voice on my headphones. It's great. It sounds lovely.
He sounds.
Thank you.
Is that just a regular 58 or is that a beta 58? Because you've got it working for you, man. Sounds great.
It's a beta.
Can you say this? Can you say in a land before land?
In a land before land.
Oh, that's great.
Put some oomph into it.
Yeah, get sink into it a little bit.
Yes. And do you say tomato or tomato?
Potato.
Tomato.
No, it's today or tomato.
Oh.
I'm a tomato guy. If I said tomato, I think my wife would kill me.
Yeah. Do you say garage or garage?
Garage.
Or car hold.
Car hold. Garage.
Let's see. What else? What other British type slangs can I think of?
Well, he would probably know more than us.
No, well, to him it's normal. To us, It wouldn't be.
Yeah, but I think with like American like TV and stuff like that, I mean, you would probably like, what are they saying?
You say bastard or bastard?
Bastard.
Yeah. Oh, you absolute bastard. No, no,
bastard. That way though.
It does. It's a very light and delicate way of delivering the thunder. Yeah. It sounds almost like you could ask for a cup of tea. Excuse me, bastard. Could you bring me a cup of tea, please?
Oh, that's great.
Tremolo or tremolo? Michael Smith asks.
Tremolo, yeah, of course. What?
Paper plectrum.
Paper plastic.
I said the other day, I said plectrum, and everybody was like, "Oh, I can't believe you said plectrum." But normally I would say pick or plec. Plec. I would normally say plec is by default is a plec.
You know, the funny thing is here in the States, a plec is what they do to your fretboard. They plec it with this machine called a plec machine. Gotcha. And what it does is, I'm not sure if you know this or not. You probably do, but for those of you who don't know what a plec machine is, it's this big machine that you put your guitar in, and via computer it tells you which frets are not not even, and it basically levels your whole fretboard, not only the frets but the fretboard itself, and it's wonderful. But the downside is it's only good as the guy that's programming it. So if the guy that's programming it doesn't know how to do a fret job or a good fret job, your
like that
machine is going to be horrible.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, I play with a really low action, and on my previous guitars, it was so low that I would be choking, the third or fourth fret on the D string and stuff, Sure. This guitar, the Kiesel Osiris, I can play as low as I can get it, and everywhere there's no dead, there's no rattling. It's just so consistent. Up top chords, intonation is just bang on. So that's one thing I love about that. Yeah, but it makes sense. Like if you've got somebody that's put a bad program and he decides to run that in your guitar, you've got like frets like steps.
Yeah, I'm also a fan of the lowest fret, the lowest action as possible. It's
That's how I play it.
I was saying the other day, I'm not sure if you know where the numbers are, but from the 12th fret, I like my action to be like between 1 and 1.5 30 seconds, which is just a little more than 1 millimeter.
Right.
So
okay.
Really,
I don't know the number, but yeah, I play low, and a lot of people say, I see them say, low action, you lose the tone. But like all of my videos, that's like people always rave about the tone, and I feel it does not affect the tone. And but yeah, I'm a low action guy. 9-42 low action, that works.
No, yeah, 9-42. I used to play either 10s or 11 gauge strings on Fenders, 10s on Fenders and 11s on Gibson.
Oh, okay.
I went down the 9s on everything except for my Les Paul. My Les Paul, since it's shorter scale, it's still 10s.
Yeah,
sure. 9s and everything, and I haven't lost any tone. No, just
works good.
Doesn't sound smaller at all.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's exactly the same with me. That works for me, and never have an issue with wanting more tone, unless that bastard rips it from me.
Awesome. Well, anyone have any final questions or anything anyone want to add or ask Thomas before we say goodnight or goodbye? Anybody? Anyone?
What's the delay between us and the chat room? Is it like 30 seconds, 40 seconds?
No, it's pretty fast actually.
Cool.
Well, depending on how fast they can actually type it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Lots of metrics.
Well, as far as the fret job and stuff from Kiesel, I know that watching Jeff's like tours and stuff, when he does like a weekly thing or whatever.
Yeah.
He walks around the and shows the guitars being made and stuff. And I guess the guy that does all the fret work, he's been there a long time. So I've read this stuff online, like the fret jobs and just the build quality in general, very consistent. And like you've said it, like all the Kiesel guitars you've played, like the quality is pretty much right on par with every single one of them.
Absolutely. Then that was part of me, trying Danny's guitars when he brought them around. I was really kind of looking for like things that I wouldn't like about them, how they would play and stuff. And each one was as good as the last one. And that's going back to 2015 or so, And I know there was some changes about that time that they made to improve quality again. But even guitars of that era, they played amazing. So very consistent, really cool.
Well, if I wanted one before, I really want one now.
Simon Williams asks, do you sing?
I did sing, and I actually took classical lessons, and I have an awful singing voice. I don't have much tone. My pitch is all right, but I had a singer back in the day in the band, and something happened, and he disappeared, and I had to sing some shows, and did not feel very comfortable doing that. So
I've got 2 words for you for that. Joe Bonamassa, great player, sounds like Kermit the Frog. So don't worry about it.
That's a good point. Yeah, but no. So no singing. No, I'm avoiding that.
Yeah, I never did the singing thing either. Never. Too embarrassed.
Yeah, I had to do like backups and harmonies live, but that was it. I never wanted to do any lead vocal work. I don't like hearing my voice.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's weird, and I think I've got a little bit more used to that, as I watch videos back and stuff. But it's never fun listening to your own voice back. It's like,
that's what I sound like.
Yeah. Every time we do that, we should do that really over the top. Even when you're putting the headphones on and listen to yourself.
Guys, I wrote this new guitar part. Want to hear it?
I'll sing it to you.
Yeah. So Michael Smith just asked, what booze will I be at NAMM 2019? I think it's not confirmed yet, but I suspect I'll probably do something at the Kiesel booth. Fishman, I probably would be up for that again. They had a really sweet little booth. And I think Dunlop will be cool this year. I decided last year, like so close to the point of NAMM happening, that I would be going. That was difficult to kind of line everything up nicely. But I think, yeah. But if you keep an eye on the Instagram, at McRocklin on Instagram, honestly, as soon as I've got information, I'll put it on the pinned stories, the highlighted stories and stuff like that. And if you're going to be there and stuff, you'll know well in advance like which booths I'm going to be playing at and stuff. But I suspect Kiesel, Dunlop, and Fishman. Laney had a fantastic display. They had like a huge exhibition. It was great, and they had some really cool new cabs and stuff. So probably do some more stuff with Laney as well. So
cool. It would be great to see you play with Greg Koch at the Fishman booth.
That would be, yeah. We talked about earlier about you don't want to jam with certain people because they're just too good. That's probably one I would just pull my guitar cable out if Greg Koch was playing.
He really is very good. One talented guy.
Oh, he's crazy. Really good. He's he was the last guitar player that I saw play when I was hanging out with Tosin at the Abassi booth. And I remember just like the lights went down. It was the end of NAMM. It was the last day, and we were all just hanging around and stuff. And he lit it up on the Abassi guitar. I was like, whoa, unbelievable.
Yeah. He's a player that he could just play anything at any time, at any speed, anything you like. Play this, and he just do it. And it's just his fingers. When you watch his fingers on the fretboard, first of all, the guy, it looks like he can consume the guitar because he is 6'8", and the guitar looks like a toy on him. And then when you see his fingers play that, it's just he's got the most amazing command over the fretboard that it's just I've never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like it. He's
yeah,
one.
well, it was the first time I saw him in person play, and you know, just for those couple of minutes, it was a lot of fun. Very, very talented man.
Well, Thomas, that's the one thing I think that, you know, when we talked about earlier about certain dynamics in playing and stuff, the one thing I think that draws me to your playing is, you know, you see a lot of these guys that can play a million notes a second, but everything is
Yeah.
that, you know, and watching you play, and you said it yourself, you pick very hard, but there's a lot of feeling and dynamics in your playing, and that's you know, that's a lot of things that you know, everybody works on getting everything perfect, and but when you can do that and throw feeling into it, that's what makes the different type of player.
Awesome. No, thank you, man. Appreciate that. No, I'd take feel and vibe and phrasing over precision and technical ability any day, but where you can marry some stuff together like that, then even better. But no, definitely it's phrasing and note quality, and just, you know, keep it a little bit interesting with the sort of the sound tonally and stuff, you know. That's kind of what I'm into.
Well, think of vocals. Think of a singer. If a singer just sang everything, you know, different notes, but everything like with the same passion and same feeling, it wouldn't do anything. It's the same thing with guitar. You want to make certain notes, you know, give them some attitude and make the listener feel something.
Absolutely. No, you're 100%. Makes sense.
Got some people wanting a Kiesel in here now, man.
Yeah.
Everybody's blaming me. It's not me. Thomas is the one with the guitar.
Oh, yes, 14 days apparently. Yeah. So is it? I think they said it's like 14 days you get when you can go and try them out. I don't know. Buy one of the in stocks. That'll be.
They give you a 10-day trial. They give you a 10-day, but only if it's I think certain ones if.
Yeah, if you go crazy and customize it heavily, I think you're probably gonna go outside of that window. But yeah, I highly recommend it. You know, and I've tried tons of major brands, and these just work really well for me. So couldn't be happier.
That's awesome. Well, Thomas, thank you so much for joining us and for, you know, just for
my pleasure. No, thanks for having me, guys. It's we should all stay in contact. It's been a lot of fun, and thanks to all the guys for the comments and stuff as well. It's really cool to see, and now we'll definitely do it again in the future, man. It's been an absolute blast.
Yeah, absolutely. You can join us anytime you want.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Ah.
Cool. Gotta love those classes.
We got to send Thomas one of those sound machines.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, I'll use it.
around you?
Oh, is that okay? Oh, you give the game away. Yeah, I thought you had a little audience behind you. Sorry. Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe if you're good one day, we'll get you on the Late Show with Steve Anderson.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking.
Yeah.
We do this show on Friday nights. We usually do 2 shows, one like this at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is kind of like a rated G, and then we do like a no holds barred version of it.
Yeah.
At midnight the same night, and it usually
okay. Yeah.
Well,
it just goes on. Are those on YouTube as well?
What's that?
Are those saved as well, or there's just like broadcasting?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just go back one video.
Yeah. When you, I guess this morning, your time, when you woke up, you liked one of my posts. We were still on.
Really?
Yes. It was like almost 4 a.m. here. And I'm like, hey, Thomas just liked one of my posts.
I'm going to have to check. Yeah, I'm going to have to make sure I have all of your accounts and stuff so I can follow them and check them out. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll put all your stuff in the description below too. So your Instagram and your Facebook and
awesome
and all that stuff.
That'd be great.
We'll have to make a Thomas McRocklin thing in the Discord as well.
Oh, the Discord. Yeah. Oh. Do you use Discord?
I do not. Is it good?
It's cool. Yeah, it's basically it's like just a chat.
Okay.
It's I'll send you a link.
Way to describe it, Johnny.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny's great at that.
It's a chat. Okay.
I'll send you a link to it. You can check it out. A lot of gamers use it to keep in contact. Like actually,
okay.
like if you're watching those videos on YouTube of people playing video games, they're all talking to each other.
Yeah.
Hear their voices. That's through Discord. That's how they do it.
Oh, okay. Well, back in the day when I was big on gaming, I was using IRC. What do you think of that?
Counter-Strike.
Yeah. I was crazy obsessed with Counter-Strike, but so much so I was on an Intel sponsored clan, and that was another obsession. So but back then IRC was where it was all happening, all the sort of Irk rooms and stuff, you know. Yeah, man, good times.
Cool.
Awesome, guys. Are you gonna do your more stuff and?
No, I think. Well, we're gonna say goodbye to everyone. Don't go anywhere. We'll
hang up yet.
Say goodbye to you off air, but we're gonna. I think we're gonna say our goodbyes now.
I mean, do you want to play for another minute and then we'll end it, or are you?
Well, my sweaty hands. I shall. Let me see. Choose a key.
X.
I was gonna say R flat.
X, yeah.
Play whole tones only.
I think I'm done.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thomas, great to talk to you, man. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Likewise, guys. Thank you.
And yeah, we'll do it again at some point. And yeah, Jay, great to see you.
Great to see you.
David Nesdahl, always awesome.
Always awesome.
And everybody, yeah, subscribe to Thomas, his Instagram, his YouTube, his Facebook. All the links will be down below. So we'll see you guys. I don't know when. I don't know. Just keep it right here. Subscribe to the channel.
Just don't leave. We'll see you in about 4 hours. But stay here.
Yeah. And by the way, special thanks to Johnny Beane for his awesome channeling for this show.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very cool. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. See you guys later. johnnybeane.tv. Bye.
Yeah.
Me.